what I was thinking about is, what is the closest thing sort of living that's nothing?
I don't know what you mean.
What?
What's like the closest, like, do you know at some point something's gone from nothing to something, hasn't it?
No, I don't understand what you mean.
Something, at some point people were nothing, and then something happened and they were something. Do you know what I mean?
But they were never nothing, were they?
Do you mean what is the first and lowest and most primitive and most simple form of life?
No,
he's right here in this room, Rick.
say like when you look at a stick insect,
right?
You go, right, there's a slight crossover there from a stick to a living thing.
No, it's not.
It didn't used to be a stick.
No, it's not. There's no biological relationship between it and a stick.
But there isn't much difference between the two, is what I mean.
Of course there is.
It's a huge
there isn't.
difference.
They just sit there looking like a stick. That's their skill.
Yes, but there's nothing to do with being a stick. It's like camouflage. That's like saying when a soldier puts on combat gear, you're saying he's a cross between a human and a shrub. He's not a cross between a human and a shrub.
No,
is he?
that's man-made
from a distance
stuff.
You can't see him. That's the same as the stick insect.
No, but that isn't what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, have you seen them weird things that just look like they sort of look like a leaf?
Yeah, they're insects that have evolved to look like a leaf. So a bird thinks, oh, there's no tea there.
No,
that's
but
not a juicy insect. It's a leaf. I don't eat leaves.
Yeah, but at
Forget
some point, something has had it away with a leaf.
No,
What?
At no point has something had it away with a leaf.
No, to make it look that much like a leaf.
At no point did a beetle shag a leaf. There's nothing on a genetic level or molecular level, anything to do with it having anything to do with a stick or a leaf. It's superficial. It's the way it looks. That's all it. That's like saying chameleons must have mated with green once. They are green.
No, but
it looks like a leaf.
What I don't understand is
it has evolved to blend in perfectly with its surroundings and fool predators.
But then how does it meet? How does it have relationships? It will be going around sort of having it away with a leaf.
No, it won't, because it doesn't know what it looks like. It doesn't matter. They do it with pheromones and attraction, and it's not like they, a stick insect will be talking to a stick for ages and go, oh, I've wasted my time here. This club's dead. Rude.
I was chatting to her. She was foxy, but she was giving me nothing.
But, Dave, that's not a stick insect. That's a stick.
What are you talking about?
That's a stick. You've been talking to a stick all night.
I can't believe it. I just thought she had a great slim figure.
No, it's actually a real stick.
Hey there, welcome to the Drawing Codex. In this video I want to do a simple drawing lesson covering one thing. How do we draw the figure from different angles? How do we draw it from above, from below, etc.? This is one of the biggest challenges that faces the artist at the outset, and even when you're well into your artistic journey, it can be a real stumbling block. And what I want to do is give you a few really simple exercises and ways to think about this so that you can practice. Now, obviously, this is something that relies on a lot of foundational perspective, and there's a lot of moving parts here, but I think there's a couple of key concepts that you can apply straight away, even if you haven't fully fleshed out your drawing foundation, even if your perspective is not 100%. I think there's a lot of things that you can take away and start practicing to make sure that your figures look as if they're grounded. Anyway, let's jump in and get started. Alright, welcome again to the Drawing Codex. My name's Tim McBurney. I've been a professional working artist for over 20 years, and on this channel we're all about drawing cool stuff from our imagination, embracing the challenge of drawing, and mastering the craft of line and color illustration. If you want to learn more about line and color illustration, you can check out my free Quick Start Guide. It gives you my basic advice for how to get up and running quickly in Photoshop with a line and color style. I go over how to build a simple, reliable process in Photoshop, and I give you my tips for going from thumbnail to the finished image. I also give you all the brushes and all the basic stuff you need to get up and started with the line and color style. This is where we create worlds with simple line and color. So it's not like there's a lack of information on these ideas of how to draw the figure from different angles. The basic idea, as should be pretty obvious, is that we combine the simple idea of taking a mannequin, of taking a stick figure, and then we basically just rotate it in space. The problem is that's easier said than done, and it's hard to know how to approach it. In the same way, you can read Andrew Loomis's book, Figure Drawing for All It's Worth, which is great, and it has a lot of information there. But again, I think the challenge for me when I was figuring out how to do a lot of this is, what do I start with, and how do I actually make that apply not just to the standard human anatomy, but maybe how do we make it apply to more cartoony things as well? I think what I want to do is, again, try those two dual concepts. One is, again, how do we draw the standard mannequin, but also maybe something a lot more cartoony may also help us to understand how this functions, so I can demonstrate that to you. But basically what I want to try and do is give you a simple exercise that you can go away and either follow along with me or take with you and just practice in your sketchbook as you go. Now, this is one of those concepts that I think is really important. And when I was starting out, again, I'd have ideas and they'd often be stifled by the fact that I couldn't draw characters from all sorts of different angles. And it took me a long time to really figure out, how to do that. But I think it's important to note that often when we are drawing things that, you don't always have to draw things from crazy angles. Not everything has to be some ridiculous, amazing angle, where you're drawing stuff from a crazy, sort of action pose where there's a million characters. You can see, right, like this panel here is a little bit like that. There's tons of characters, they're all fighting. Camera's low. That's important. That's a little bit different to what I want to do. And again, in this exercise, because in order to do that, you kind of have to begin with the basics. You sort of have to really, really understand the simple way that perspective and boxes and box sort of logic or theory relates to the figure. And this is actually a really good way, just practicing drawing that mannequin and that figure from different angles. It's a really good way to understand the concepts of proportion and structure and just how you actually go about building something that kind of looks solid but is viewed from an angle that is maybe more interesting or exciting. Anyway, I don't want to go on for too long because I think you get the basic idea of where we're going with this. Let's jump over to the drawing table and get started. All right, here we are at the drawing table. Now, as I said, in most cases when you're drawing comics, you are working within a fairly limited framework of poses and things that you need to create, that you need to kind of make real from your imagination or from the script. In most cases, I think what you'll find is that you don't always have to draw a lot of these heavy down angle shots, right? It just doesn't often make sense. When you do, it's really, really important. But if we think about often, if I take the basic idea of creating a Loomis stick figure mannequin, and if you're new to the channel and you're not quite sure what I'm talking about, there's a lot of other videos that I have on the channel talking about the concepts of creating a mannequin and drawing solidly, and I'll link to a few of the basic ones in the description. So check that out if you might get a little bit lost with exactly what I'm talking about here. But the basic idea, as you may know if you've looked at these concepts before, is that we basically just draw a stick figure. Now, you can think about the basic idea here being that maybe you might have a panel where there's a few characters, right, and they're talking. So there's lots of situations where you might want to frame a panel or an illustration or whatever you want to do, right? You might have lots of reasons. So again, I'm just kind of winging this a little bit, not being that technical with it, just for illustrative purposes. Right, but again, you might have some people talking to each other in a panel, and you need to do this kind of down shot. Now, that's useful, but in my experience, most of the time what you want to do is see faces and make sure that the posing is sort of clear. And this is quite a disassociated shot, and you may have a lot of stories and a lot of ideas that involve this basic concept of, hey, we're looking down at a scene. All right, again, there might be more characters over here. All right, again, just roughly transferring, all right, some of those ideas. Oh, that one's getting a little bit out of whack. But again, there might be a whole crowd full of people, right? And now, if you don't know what you're doing, this type of scene is just an absolute unmitigated nightmare to execute on. So it is really, really important to kind of understand your basic perspective and all of that stuff. It'll really, really make your life a lot easier, and it'll make these kind of things a lot more fun. In most cases, though, I do want to point out, because I think it is super important to remember that in most cases, we're just dealing with minor variations, with minor tilts. So, and this is just my experience, but again, this is just practical advice if you're thinking about this. Often this is the thing that terrifies me, right? I wake up in a cold sweat as a young artist, sort of thinking about, please don't make me draw this kind of scene because it's just too hard. But what I found in most cases is that, there's a couple of things, right? You can see this scene is a little bit like that. We've got a few characters kind of from above, but the idea of having to draw extensive scenes where, there's all these sort of dynamic angles, maybe in superhero comics, there might be a little bit more of that. But in most cases, we're dealing with looking at faces and fairly simple shots, which is very, very similar to what you would look at in a film. We're often choosing shots for clarity so we can read the character's face. Again, in comics or similarly in an illustration, you kind of want to see the character's face. You want to see them fairly straight on. And I think in most cases, this sort of thing is not actually what you spend most of your time doing. And certainly if you're doing illustrations, primarily often what we're talking about from a compositional standpoint is, it's frequently involving characters who are pretty front on. If you deal with your classic sort of pin-up character, right, it basically is some form of this. Now, it might involve a lot of twisting of the figure, but not a lot of this need to make it grounded and draw it from different angles. But I feel like this idea of just learning how do we draw the figure like this, and then how do we do the opposite of that, which is draw it from below, right? Go here, same stick figure idea, boom, boom. Got a head there. Right, and then we're going to have arm here, right, something like this. And again, you can continue the basic concept as you go, right? If we want to do that from the back, very, very simple, right? We just sort of flip the character around, right, and then we're drawing this. So I'm just going to be putting in rough perspective to illustrate what I need, and this is typically what I would do for myself. And I'm just illustrating the different options here. So we will get to some actual exercises, and I'll talk specifically about what I'm doing and how you can pull some concepts from books like the Loomis books or other sort of how to draw books and sort of actually try and get your head around this basic concept. But again, we do it from the back. It's the same thing. All right. So here the face is like this. All right, here it's from the back. And the difference really is just what does that arc of the spine look like, and how do these limbs tend to bend, right, as a very sort of rough basic idea. So again, these are a little bit from above and below. These ones are a little bit more. The basic concept is the same. Again, the reason that you would have some need to draw like a really kind of worm's eye view of something like this, I don't know why you would need to do that, but say you did. Again, it's going to be a very similar concept, right? Feet are going to be on the ground, shoulders are going to be somewhere here, right? Head is going to be up there. We're going to have some arms here. Right. So again, sorry that guy's got a little bit squished, but again, it's the same idea. It's just a matter of how much exaggeration is there on this perspective grid, if that makes sense. Let's see if we can do better on that head. All right. See if we can find the form of that torso a little bit. Head goes there. Yeah, might look, that's a little bit better. But it's all the same idea. What we're doing is we're taking the basic concept of a skeleton or a mannequin or a stick figure, and we're just drawing it from different angles. As I said, the problem is that's its own challenge, and that really is what I want to talk about in this lesson and show you is how do we combine the concepts of box logic or drawing simple geoforms, which again is very, very much linked to this, and how do we find some exercises and things you can do so you can jump in and start practicing this. All right, so if we look at the pages that you might find in a traditional drawing book that are going to be related to this concept, it's often at the beginning, and it's where we link up concepts of perspective. So you can see here some great illustrations of how the concepts of proportion and perspective and just lining things up are going to work in 3 dimensions. So this is really what we're dealing with, is the idea that if we understand the basic proportions of the mannequin, which you can find in some of the additional videos I've got that I'll link below so you can check those out. But again, I'll go over them super quickly in this video so you can just jump in if you need. And then it's just simply a matter of understanding how perspective works. A lot of it does involve this simple concept of thinking of a plane and how we derive some simple proportion from that plane. All right, so the task is pretty simple. What we need to do and what is good to practice is just practice drawing space or a line that your character is going to occupy. And what we want to do is find these proportional markers. The one that I think is the most important to find and the one that you can practice finding is the halfway mark. And that essentially is going to divide the character around about the bottom of the pelvis or at the crotch area. This will also line up with the base of the hand. And this is a really, really important marker because, again, it basically divides the legs from the top of the figure. And this really is one of the major things that you're trying to do. So what you can practice doing is drawing that character in 2 dimensions. And then you can practice drawing them in 3 dimensions. Now, once you get a feel for the proportional division, it's a lot easier to add dimension. So if we, and again, I'm just going to be fairly rough with this, so apologies if some of these lines don't match up. I won't do this with a ruler because it's a little bit easier to just kind of see when we're doing it by hand, but some of these lines might not match up. The more accurate you can be with this, the better, and I'd say if you study your basic perspective with a ruler, it'll really help you to make sure you're not making errors based on simple errors of the hand, let's say. But either way, it's important to understand how accurate you need to be with these lines. So even if you're not using a ruler, you have to understand how likely are you to gauge proportion in 2 dimensions. If you're having trouble doing it in 2 dimensions, then it's very tricky for you to just magically turn that into 3 dimensions. So just remember that. the first thing we're going to do is just figure out how do we draw that character in 2 dimensions, and we're going to divide the mannequin up into 1 proportion and 2 proportions. As I said, basically dividing the character at halfway and that sort of crotch area, right? So we've got something like this. Now, as I said, I've got more videos that talk about this in detail. But this should illustrate the basic point. So what we need to find is these set of proportions. We got 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4 at the top. And we use these to define essentially where the head is going to go up top, where the top of the shoulders are going to go, and where the sort of normally this line is a really good line for where the breasts or the nipples are going to sort of go, again halfway up the arm. And this bottom of this third marker is where you're going to have your navel and the bottom of the elbow. Down below, we're going to again divide this second proportion in half, and we've got 1, 2. The top is going to be the top of the legs, and the second one is the bottom of the legs. We've got some feet down here. We then know that the hand is probably going to come a little bit above the knee, normally 1 hand length above the knee, somewhere again around there. And that's the simple 2-dimensional proportion. Again, what we're doing is just making a stick figure out of this concept here. So this is where just, potentially copying these things or studying these or having some, you print out a version of this on your computer or something like that, print it out, stick it up on the wall. It really helps to kind of make sure this stuff is fully imprinted into your memory. So it's important here that we find this halfway point. This division is really, really going to help. And again, you can fully study the figure, you can fully study all of these, but this is really the first exercise that I think you should apply. And this is the primary exercise that I think will really, really help you to just understand how to draw the figure from different angles. So in this case, if we transfer that proportion, right, so I'm sort of drawing it as a plane here, but this is just roughly to kind of illustrate things. Now I can guesstimate roughly where halfway up there is. But this is what we're dealing with when, all right, we can divide that up. All right, we can divide that up. This is where thinking about those proportions in 2D will help us in 3D. So you can see that if I find the midpoint, then it's very easy for me to roughly guesstimate where these other 1, 2, 3, 4 proportions are going to be. In the same way, it's going to be a lot easier for me to now guesstimate where these feet and legs are going to be. That is the baseline. And if we think about essentially repeating this concept again and again, it's just a matter of getting to a point where you line all of these things up. Now, obviously, this changes as you pose the figure differently, as you move things around, as the character moves. But if you're thinking about how to get your head around this in the beginning, this is where you start. And I think that can be one of the biggest challenges with this overall exercise, is just understanding what is actually going to teach you how to get better at this. It often is this simpler exercise where you're just thinking about, okay, let's make sure I can control proportion. as I just adjust the figure and draw it from a slightly different angle, right? So if we take a simple, got a little sort of toy here that'll sort of help us understand this. Just start by rotating the figure a little bit, right? Just start by trying to draw it from a little bit of an angle there, and then maybe you can draw it from an angle that's slightly below, and then you can maybe try draw it from behind, etc., etc. Just ratchet up the complexity a little bit by bit. That's one of the things that will really, really help you. This is where it all happens, at that halfway point. So what you can do is just practice the idea of how do you divide up that space. So what we're doing is essentially taking the fundamental principle of perspective here, that is the one you take away. And that is that we can apply whatever is possible with two-dimensional geometry to three-dimensional perspective, as long as we have a good idea where the vanishing points are and where the essential grid is. All right, so we've got a grid, boom, boom. So I can do the same thing here because these corners don't move in two-dimensional space, and I can draw a line between them, and then I know how to divide up that space. So this is the fundamental concept of perspective that will help you to initially gauge that proportion. So we can think about this, right? If we have like a lot of extreme exaggeration, we still can find halfway up. And it's this experimentation with this basic concept that will teach you a lot about how to change the camera angle. Now, behind this is the concept of the perspective grid, which I think is its own challenge. And this is where what we can try and do is understand the basic takeaways that we're going to get from perspective as it relates to the figure. But if you have to understand that there's a point at which you need to go away and learn perspective properly if you want to really, really get stuck into this. But the fundamental thing that will help you understand it is the box logic, or just viewing the box that surrounds your space. You've probably seen a lot of people talk about this, and there's a lot of discussion about this as being important for your drawing, to understand the grids and the simple idea of three-dimensional space. So this is like a perspective grid. It's a sense that all these lines are heading towards a vanishing point. And again, I'm just being very rough. Now, what we're trying to do here is increase our ability to visualize three-dimensional space around the character. And that's really all you have to do. What you have to do is imagine that as you rotate the cube, the figure rotates. As you rotate the figure, the cube rotates. And don't worry too much about the rest of perspective. Again, the more you can understand about it, the better. But at the outset, what we have to think about is just this simple concept of where these lines might be, and just make sure that as we line things up, things like our feet, things like our shoulders are lining up with each other. Now, again, that will change as the hands move, right? As the hand moves up, as we pose the character, obviously all of that changes. It's really important to start and again get your understanding of the initial perspective right, though, because it's very easy to move things around once you get the character feeling as if they're solid. So the first part of the exercise is, as I said, just study and get good at dividing up space with different grids. I actually have a whole video on this basic concept that is talking about how you draw straight lines. And one of the reasons I use a grid as a good way for you to understand how to draw straight lines is because often the reason we're drawing straight lines is to draw a grid. So the concept of physically being able to draw grids is super important. But what you do here with the figure is just draw some different grids and then try and figure out where the halfway point is. Again, that's not a very good one. Keep going, keep experimenting. Etc., etc. We can think about, again, that idea of drawing a character where we're at a worm's eye view or a bird's eye view, whatever it is. The most important thing initially is really basic. Just get that initial halfway point there. Once you do that, everything else becomes easy. Now, how do we sort of connect up the figure with this? Because I'm sure a lot of people are, at this point, sort of tuning out because this seems boring. And I think that is one of the biggest challenges, is understanding how this relates to what you want to do and why is it important. Well, obviously, once we get this right, we can then start to apply it to everything else. If we don't get this right, everything else is kind of a waste of time. All right, so how do we actually apply that? What I want to do mostly is talk about how that is applied and show it to you and give you a few little tools so that you can copy along, maybe try this with some of your characters or start to think about it. The goal here is that the more we can connect up figures and characters and interesting things with the topics of perspective, the more you're likely to get really interested in perspective and improving your perspective. If you can directly translate and apply the concepts that you might learn by studying 1 point, 2 point, 3 point perspective, etc., at improving your technical drawing, then you can directly say, hey, now that I know that I've got this a little bit more accurate, that means the lines that I'm going to use to line up my character are going to be more accurate. I think that is the goal here. It's really easy doing drawing lessons to get lost in the weeds about perspective and form drawing and the concepts of boxes. So what I'm going to try and do is, again, just show you a little bit more how I do this so that hopefully you can get interested in learning the perspective if that's something that is lacking. And we can do some more basic perspective lessons on the channel as well. Let me know what you'd like to see. So the way that I start by this and the way that I would apply the concept of those Loomis books to drawing and drawing the mannequin is as follows. Let's start by drawing a character from above, as I was doing before. The most important thing that I think we can start with is just the center line. The center line is the thing that really helps us to anchor the figure. And this is similar to this center line here that is holding up the skeleton figure. This is an imaginary line running directly down the center of the body. And we can kind of really use this to figure out where that character is situated. So here we can, let's define some fairly sort of benign perspective here. This is all I'm using. So you can see this is actually similar to a box, right? If we think about a box being like this, what I'm drawing is this. Right, so I'm drawing the center of the box. You can imagine if there was a line there, and a line there, and then a line directly down the middle. That's kind of what I'm thinking about here. Where is the perspective? But I'm not drawing a box because in my experience, trying to fit a character in a box is not actually a good way to start. But in this case, that can be useful. Now, what I'm going to do is guesstimate the halfway point up here, from here to here. And this is something where, again, if you're having trouble drawing a line, right, again, thinking about where the perspective for that might be, and then trying to sort of guesstimate where halfway up is. If that's something that's troubling you, again, the more you learn about perspective, the better your ability to guesstimate that will be. If you're struggling, one of the things you can do is, again, formalize your drawing of these sort of elements and use those two-dimensional drawing tricks that we transfer to 3 dimensions, right? And see if you can find, bang, the center of that. So again, if I was to do that formally here, right, I'm just going to imagine that there is some sort of grid here that makes sense, right? So both these lines are going to some vanishing point, and I've got a line here. Boom. I'm going to try and guesstimate that's kind of down there straight. Right, boom, and then we can do the same thing here. So this is really the one that is super important to get right. Oh, I don't have a big enough ruler. Let's see if I can. I'll sort of see if I can guesstimate it kind of there. I think it's somewhere. Look, it's. Don't do that at home, people. Get a longer ruler. But I think this is going to be, it's pretty close. It's somewhere around there. So that is pretty close. Again, my guesstimation, and if we were to look at the vertical distance here, right, that's kind of 19. Half of 19 is somewhere around here, 9.5. So it's actually sort of like pretty much visually and measurement-wise exactly the same. Now, that's going to change depending on how much extreme perspective you get. But what I would do if you're thinking about drawing characters from above and different angles is just start with something basic like this. If you start to get to the point where you're thinking, oh, drawing characters from above equals really, really distorted grids. So it's not just that we're drawing the character from above, right? It's that we're drawing these kind of really extreme perspective shots. What you're doing is getting two concepts mixed up, in my opinion. One is the concept of the camera angle and how much distortion there is and how much exaggeration in the grid there is, from the concepts of lining things up and thinking about where the camera actually might be in relation to the figure. It's a lot easier to start with very low distortion. Again, it's very easy here to jump into a whole another subject of camera lenses, etc., etc., etc. The point is that you can draw a character, again, like a small character that's like fairly far away. There's not going to be heaps and heaps of distortion on this figure, because again, they're fairly small in relation to the camera. With a much larger figure, right, that gets really close to the camera, right, we can sort of take this really close to the camera. Sorry, it's going to get blurry, but you see the closer to the camera we get, the more distortion you get, right? So again, sorry it's blurry, but you get the basic idea. The camera angle is relating to what we're dealing with here in terms of extreme perspective. Now, that's something where the more of this extreme perspective you do, the better you'll be able to relate this to this. But when you're learning, stick with this. Just make it a very simple grid where you don't have a lot of distortion. Once you've done that, you can ratchet up the complexity. Super, super important. And again, if you're struggling with some of these concepts, as I said before, go check out some more fundamental perspective exercises. A lot of those you can actually see and study within those Loomis books. And again, I will make some more in the future on the channel. So the basic concept here is, again, we've got these proportional markers, and I'm just going to guesstimate, right, some lines going along here. Right, and we can also visualize some sort of lines going here that might sort of help us. And then we've also got, we're sort of halfway up here. Oh, yeah, maybe let's sort of guesstimate that. Try and draw a line. And what we're doing is adding just a very, very simple modification of our sort of initial Loomis proportion and sort of drawing, where we learn to draw the mannequin like this. I've got a head here, neck here, right, shoulders here, etc. So we're drawing the mannequin like this. What we're doing is we're taking these lines which don't have a lot of distortion on them, and we're just making sure that we draw them from different angles. That really is all that's going on. Just because you don't have extreme distortion in your perspective doesn't mean it isn't in perspective. That really is just related to the lens and where we're seeing characters from. Again, if you think about going back to that, sketch I had before where I had a bunch of little characters on the ground, normally that's going to be taken with a camera lens that's quite far away, taking a big sort of scenic shot from afar, and you're not actually going to have a lot of this distortion. This type of distortion is going to be much more prevalent when you've got the object really, really close to the camera, and there's going to be a lot more distortion there. So just keep that in mind. Now, this is still perspective, even though it's not ridiculously distorted. What we're trying to do is get used to lining up the character and drawing them from above and below. So here we're just going to do above, and hopefully I'll do a quick one below, and then we'll do a quick little sort of more cartoony character to show you how you apply the same basic concepts to something with a little bit more different proportional set. A little bit more of a different proportional set. So again, the reason I feel like focusing on the center line is important is that really is literally at the core of what we are trying to do. So I've got 1, 2, 3, and 4, and here I've got, right, I've got my 1, right, 2. So what I know is that here, right, I'm going to have my sort of pelvic probably a little bit higher, right, we're going to have the pelvic bit here, and this right rib cage is actually gonna come down here. So really good to get used to drawing these forms out in 3 dimensions. And this really is the skill that's probably more important and is going to help you. The grid helps us line up these points. So here I'm going to have, right, we've got the spine coming there. All right, we're going to have spine coming up there, and it's going to go into the head, just somewhere around here. Boom, boom, boom. Drop a line down there. Let's sharpen this pencil. All right, so we've got our head here. The lines will help us find these elements like the shoulder blades, right? They're going to help us find the shoulders from side to side. They're going to allow us to line up, again, the concept of where the hip bones are going to be. But you can see that having this concept of the center line is something that's really easy to keep us honest, because we can trace the spine, we can trace the which goes directly up the figure, and we can use that to help us find these different elements, and that, you know, just immediately will get us a lot closer to having something that feels symmetrical. And again, what we're after now is we've got this grid this way, right? We sort of have a grid this way. We don't really need it for a lot of things. But this is where, again, you can line things up and try and imagine where we have symmetry. Now, if you wanted to get more technical with the symmetry, you could try and do more technical perspective work to mirror. Again, I'm just going to eyeball. And what I would suggest is you just keep trying to eyeball it until you get sick of eyeballing it, and then go and learn how to measure it. Go and learn how to do it technically in perspective, and it'll hopefully be a lot more interesting then, because then once you learn it, you can come back to this and you know that you'll be more accurate. As I keep saying, I feel like that's so important. It's important to fail here. It's important to try to eyeball. It's not a matter of like get to a point where you're a 10 out of 10 at technical perspective, and then you can start eyeballing. No, you know, you are always guessing. You're always drawing cool stuff. Again, that's my primary recommendation, is draw cool stuff and, you know, figure out what you need to learn from drawing that interesting stuff, and do a little bit of this type of more academic study where we try and apply these things, and then, you know, go apply it to your cool stuff, and then you go back and forward and back and forward and back and forth. That really is the sort of magical answer as far as I'm concerned. That's really what sort of worked for me, and that's what I find typically works with students, is when they're constantly combining those two things. So what that means is sometimes you jump in and try and guess, and you fail, and you can redraw, and you can sketch around and try and draw something interesting, draw something fun, you know, try and, if you want to draw mechs, you know, try and draw some mechs from different angles. If you want to draw, you know, fantasy stuff or aliens, you know, draw some alien characters from different angles, etc., etc. Now, I've talked a lot about in other videos as well how to add the musculature on top of the mannequin. So for this demo, we'll just deal with mannequins, right? Because the process is almost identical. It's just a matter of thinking about, again, how the muscles kind of wrap around and look from different angles. But the trick here is, how do we figure out where these points of proportion are? So again, I've got this bottom of this third. Proportion is often where I'm going to have my elbow. And here, again, I'm going to find that I'm going to have a combination of, I've got the bottom of the pelvis here, and the hand, right, is going to stop. Right, hand is sort of going to start just below there. Got the elbow. Right, hand is going to, and this is where, again, what you'll tend to find is your intuition will be challenged. So the feeling of like, wait a minute, how long is this forearm? Well, I know from a proportional standpoint, right, if we look at this, that again, I've got that bottom of that rib cage. Just look at this and check, because again, this is a major thing that will come up. I've got the bottom of the rib cage. All right, it's going to line up with that elbow. Now, it's very easy to figure out the depth and the length of these things when you're just drawing it flat on, but it's very easy to become challenged and accidentally draw stuff too long or too small or whatever, or just kind of, you just get tripped up and you're no longer able to engage your normal natural drawing intuition. So it's important here to double check and remember your proportions. We can see again at the bottom of the pelvis there, that's kind of where the hands start, and the hands then go down, and they're kind of, you know, ending about halfway up this bone, or about, as I often say, one hand length above the knee, or certainly the hinge point of the leg. Whoop. So that is one of these things that's kind of quite tricky from a proportional standpoint to really get. All right, is understanding where these lines are likely to go. All right, so then we're going to have a line about there. Right, we're going to have a hand. If the hand was sort of extended, it would be about here, right? If it was in a fist, it would probably be here. And here we've got the knee. Here we've got this. Now, this, I think, is often the biggest problem when it comes to drawing these things from different angles, is making sure that they connect with the ground. And more important, and probably the subject of a different video, is how do you do, as I was doing in that other sketch, multiple characters from the same angle and make sure they all feel like they're sitting on the ground plane. Again, this is where having a good sense of that center line will really help. If we know where that center line is, you can easily understand that the feet, if they're just sort of planted normally, which is what I'd recommend initially to give them just a standard sort of pose, is they're going to be equidistant more or less in a standard pose from that center line. Now, again, a subject of another video is kind of how we modify the posture and get different feelings there. But just understanding where that center line is in space, and then just sort of placing the heels of the feet somewhere so that there's an equal distance from here to here is super helpful. And then what I'm doing is basically just thinking about where these lines are going out at different angles. So you can think about that from a two-dimensional standpoint. If I'm looking down, right, here's this line on the ground, here's the center line, here's this foot here, and here's this foot here. And what I'm doing is I'm saying, well, the feet are kind of turned outward, a little bit like they are here. I'm doing it a little bit more exaggerated to make the point. But again, just visualizing the space, understanding the center, being able to measure, right? Again, it's the same thing. Visualizing the center line, measuring that space or guesstimating that space. Again, visualizing that center, understanding the points, right? So if we reattach our poor little skeleton's arm, again, this is the visualization we're trying to practice, is where's the center, where is the wrist sort of point, and where's the other wrist point, and just visualizing the distance. Having that center line there is super important, right? So this is what we're sort of trying to visualize. Points here, points here, points here. And really it is that simple. It's just a matter of staying true to the proportion, understanding how important the proportion is, understanding how important finding that middle section is. And what I'd say is not getting too lost in the perspective, just understanding that what we need is almost just parallel lines, right? Almost all I need to know is that, right, this line is kind of at like a similar angle to this one. It doesn't even need to be too much in perspective. I don't really even need these to be going to the same vanishing point. I just need them to kind of be almost in an isometric perspective to practice this. Again, once you start getting this and you're able to place these things accurately, I think that's when you'll be able to experiment a little bit more and take it to the next level. All right, let's try from below, because I think, again, what that will do is help us to just reiterate, do the same thing again, but we'll deal with a much more extreme angle. So we'll have a basic angle there, right? But a little bit of, let's put a little bit of an angle here, right? So maybe the horizon line is super low down, right? Here we've got our horizon line. And again, what I'm after is a sense of where that center is. So I'm just gonna, now, again, there's a procedural sort of thing here, which is obviously, I could draw a big box here, right? So I'm trying to find halfway here. It doesn't really matter how big this box is. That's not really the point. All I need to do, you can sort of draw any old size box. Again, I'm going to run out of ruler. Let me find a bigger one. This will solve that problem. So you can see here that it's going to find center right over here, but that does give me a really good indication of where that's going to be, because all I'm going to try and do now is sort of draw, if we sort of try and understand what's happening from a visualization standpoint, right? I've drawn this, right? And what I'm trying to visualize is where this one is going to go. Now, it's not going to go there, right? I don't want to draw it that way because that doesn't look like it's going to the same vanishing point. I want to draw it so that it feels like it's going to the same bump, same vanishing point over there, right? That's kind of what I want, right? And I want my horizon line to be somewhere there. That's kind of what I'm doing. Now, the line can be over here. It doesn't matter. What I'm after is where is halfway up this measurement, right? So if there was a line here or a line here, if I find the center between this line and this line, it will give me halfway up all of these lines. Hopefully that makes sense. Again, if not, it's a good example of how learning some more perspective may help. So here again, what I'm doing is this is the bit that will derail you if we get it wrong. What I'm trying to do is figure out where I place this line. Now there's a really easy trick that you can use, and that is to just measure. This is another sort of easy sort of way you can do this to kind of help you guesstimate. What I can do is physically measure. Right here I've got right, sort of roughly, that's roughly 20, so 10 is going to be halfway up here. And if we sort of take a measurement here, that's 16 and a half, so 8 and a bit, right? It's going to be somewhere around there. So if I kind of draw a line between these somewhere around here, right? Again, those things don't all line up perfectly. That's going to give me a pretty good indication of where halfway up is. Or you can just guess. Totally up to you. This is a really good way where you can start to apply these boring perspective concepts to your drawing, get a better result, get a better guesstimate, and make sure, again, you're doing that thing, building that muscle of applying the technical knowledge to something that's actually going to help you. The other thing you can do is you can try guessing first, and then you can do all of the things and see how far you get. You can see I kind of guessed about there, and it was a little bit down there. The point is that we want to get a feeling for where halfway up this figure is if we then start drawing the rest of these lines. Because obviously what I'm going to do now is divide up this top thing into 4 sections, and I'm going to divide this into half. And I'm just guesstimating at that point. Why? Because this is pretty accurate, and what you'll find generally with a lot of perspective is once you kind of key into it, once you kind of understand like, oh, I get what's happening here, I've got a solid indication, I know these are true, then it's a lot easier for your brain to kind of guess the rest, if that makes sense. You kind of have the framework and the rest kind of fall into place. So again, I've got some of these lines going here. I'm not drawing them that accurately, but it is the same idea. We're going to have, what I'll do and what I suggest to do is kind of just rough it in first, right? I'm going to have here sort of pelvic stuff here. There's going to be a rib cage thingy here. Again, they're going to sort of line up a little bit. Again, you know, the side of the rib cage will kind of line up with the pelvis. You kind of have that. Boom. Right. It helps me anyway to sort of visualize the spaces a little bit, right? Take those sort of jelly bean, take those, where's a good place to draw here? Take the jelly beans, right? And add dimensionality. Right? Just think about like, where is the three-dimensional space there? Let's draw through, right? Let's try and define that space. I'm going to have a spine that goes up like that. It's going to come back behind, right, from the spine. Comes back, sort of curves in. Oh, sorry. Let's get that closer. Curves in on the small of the back, goes out, and then comes in. That's that sort of arc that I'm trying to visualize. So it's there, comes back up here, right, and then it's going to insert in the back of the skull there, right? And then I can draw the skull, right? I know, right? I can define dimensionality within that sphere, etc., etc. And here I've got, again, some shoulders. Right, I'm going to place those shoulders. Again, visualizing. Right, got sort of a neck here. Again, I feel like those shoulders could be a little bit, again, a little bit more on that line. Now, you can either rough in or guesstimate, make things a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller. If you run into trouble there or consistently run into trouble, again, one of the things that I'm facing is, as I often see with these drawing demos, I'm looking at this paper from a little bit of an angle. I'm also meant to be looking up at it from the drawing, so it's going to be hard for me to gauge how big that head actually needs to be. But when I rough it in, again, the things that will help me to visualize that are, again, thinking about where that center line is, right? So it's almost like we're sort of, got the sphere, right? We're sort of chopping half of it off, and then we got this, right? And there'll be like eyes here. So I'm sort of trying to think about where that is under there. That will sort of help. And again, this is just construction drawing. So you know, if you're practicing these things, go crazy with it. Draw the lines, make it messy. It's really worthwhile going pretty rough, as rough as you need. But again, might need to make that head a little bit bigger or smaller. Again, don't feel like when you're doing these exercises that you need to get the ruler out for everything. Part of this is training your intuition and your ability to just kind of wing it and see how you go. So don't freak out if you're like, oh, I need to make the head a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller. If it's really important and it's a really, really highly detailed illustration, then you might measure it out a little bit more. But most of the time with the mannequin, what we're after is lining things up. The things that will make the drawing really sort of awful are if the arms aren't lined up properly. If the eyes don't sort of line up, right? If I don't, if one eye's up here and the other eye's down there or something silly. Those are the things that are going to make the difference. It's easy to kind of make the head overall a little bit bigger, overall a little bit smaller. Make sure it fits the character you want. If you're drawing a manga character, obviously your head might be a little bit bigger. Eyes are going to be a little bit bigger, right? Might be some sort of crazy hair or something like that on the figure. Who knows? Again, most of this is just get stuff in the right spot and then know the grid that you've got to line everything up on. But the good thing about proportion this way is that I don't even have to start drawing the legs because I sort of know where they're going to go. Right? I have a good understanding and a good ability to guesstimate where that line is, so I kind of know where those legs are going to go. Right? I've got a pretty good indication. Again, that's the heel of the foot. This is the ball of the foot. So we can't see it. This one's foreshortened, right? Coming at us. Again, that's, its own little drawing problem that can be quite challenging to solve. But at its core is just, going through things logically and kind of thinking about what you see when you're looking at a foot from front on. But as I said, I can either draw the legs or I could draw the hands because I know where everything is going to end up. We know what's going to happen. Now, I think probably, again, that's kind of where the bottom of that rib cage is meant to go. Right, so the bottom of the rib cage is meant to be probably a little bit lower. Right, navel is sort of going to be about there, and that means probably I've drawn these shoulders a little bit narrow, based on sort of, I think we're drawing sort of like a male figure. Right, so just going to sort of guesstimate where that is going to go, and we're going to line it up. And again, doing those things is totally fine. A lot of it is just recognizing the proportion. You know, you go through it, and then just, you know, I realize, oh, that's right, you know, that torso, right, sort of comes down and you know, hits the bottom of that proportion, right? So we sort of got 1 proportion, 2 proportion, 3 proportions, 4 proportions. And here it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So I just drew this a little bit small initially. Again, not a problem, because we can go in and adjust it. And that probably means visually this head is going to want to look a little bit bigger. But that's all we need to do. I know that the shoulders are going to be there. Again, I know that the forearms are sort of going to be about there. And as I said, we probably draw the shoulders a little bit lower. Shoulder there, shoulder there. So as I said, it's totally fine to experiment, to push and, you know, play with these things, make the shoulders a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller. The goal is for you to understand what's happening, be able to troubleshoot. If you make a mistake like I did there, then, you know, you sort of know how to fix it. And mostly that you're just lining things up. So just remember, we're trying to line things up. Got the elbows are lined up, the hands lined up, the knees lined up, etc., etc., etc. I'm finding center, right? Center of that, right? Shoulders, boom, 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 etc. So again, same basic idea, very simple to apply. Practicing it can be a challenge, right? You've got to keep trying. You've got to keep playing with these things. It's very easy to make one mistake, as I said, you know, oh, this proportion's wrong. And the trick there is just fix it. Play around with fixing it. Fixing it is just as important as getting it right in the beginning. All right, we'll do one more little demo where we talk about a more sort of cartoony character, and we'll apply the basic same concepts there. Again, just to reiterate and sort of talk about how you can apply these perspective things to anything. All right, so same idea, but let's draw a little character that maybe has some different anatomical things, but we'll apply the same basic concept. We'll draw it from above. So again, what I'm doing is sort of setting a grid that way, and then I'm drawing some kind of line to help me figure out what's happening with the character. But in this case, mostly what I'm going to do is just discuss how we can use the concepts of form drawing to experiment. So here I'm going to have some sort of those hip bones, but in this case, let's draw something that maybe is a bit more like a dragon or some little character who is a little bit more cartoony. So dragon sort of creature. Right, in this case, I'm going to draw, think about where that's where the center is. I've got, right, we're lining things up. What I'm going to do is line up, that's where the knees are lined up, and then I'm going to draw one of these sort of animalistic legs. Right, so let's transfer that over. Here I've got, again, from side to side. Right, there's the center. Right, we've got this here. Got that there. We're just drawing points in space. Here I've got my pelvis. Let's see if we can find that. This is tricky because we've got a lot of foreshortening here. Right, and then I've got this over here. Where's it hit the ground? Hits the ground kind of over here. So really what we have to think about is what is the line of, where does that hit the ground? Right, and how do I get that leg to sit there, right? So again, if we were to look at this from above, if I draw this line from here, right, here we've got sort of the pelvis, and what we're doing is drawing legs out, boom, out here, and then it goes back, but that is kind of underneath. Right, so we're finding that point of this. Look at it from the side, it's going dunk, 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 and we're finding these points, and then it goes down, and we don't really see that, right, and then it comes out, right, and we sort of barely see that. So this is where, again, some of that perspective will come in handy. So now I'm going to draw our rib cage, and I think this is going to attach a little bit forward, so I still want to think about where that center line is going to be, but I'm going to transfer that over there. And so now what we're trying to do is find, again, like we'll have an arm here and an arm here, and we've got the spine wrapping around here. All right, we'll have a head, bump, bump, and let's put some arms down here. So I'm just going to transfer that arm right over here. Let's have some big chunky hands. Right, so we've got mannequin like this. Hopefully you guys can see this, and then we'll go, let's extend out. Right. Again, this is not a great design, mostly just because it's good to see all of these things working. Right, so we have a neck here, then we're going to have a tail. Now we find the tail by finding the point on the ground. Right, let's trace from there. We can think about what's happening here if we think about the side. Right, got pelvic bones, and then this is coming up here, right, curving around, boom. And at the front there we've sort of got the shoulders, and then this is continuing forward. Right, we've got some sort of thing there, and what's happening is this is the ground, and what I want is the tail to come down here. Right, although in this case it looks like it's coming a little bit more like that. So hopefully you can see how, again, we can practice, and again, hopefully you can see how that is going to turn into some sort of fantasy character that might look interesting. Again, just to sort of nail home the point, if we can sort of erase some of that out, and maybe, you know, put some extra sort of musculature on it so that you can see. Right, if we have some sort of arms like this. Right, leg. And here we'd have, again, some sort of toes. So yeah, again, hopefully you see that we could build that up if we wanted. And to me, you know, this is the sort of stuff that I was, you know, more interested in doing as, you know, characters that weren't, you know, typical humans. But the point is that just practicing these things, stepping through the basics, doing your simple division of space will really help. If you can do this right, if you can practice this and just keep going, you know, break out the ruler if you need to do it. If you're finding things are going wonky, as I said, go back, check your fundamental perspective knowledge, make sure that you're being accurate. A lot of the time, you know, these things are sort of going pear-shaped because, you know, as I said, we're trying to do a little bit too much of this extreme perspective. You're trying to do too much. Stick with something that's almost like an isometric perspective. Isometric perspective is where, again, the lines don't really go back to a vanishing point. They're just kind of parallel to each other. That will teach you the fundamentals of how to control these grids that underline the figure and the structure. Once you do that, then you can start to build out more interesting characters. You can start to play with, again, much more extreme views, much more extreme angles. You know, you could try something that is, you know, super distorted, right, where we're seeing like massive amounts of distortion there. Again, you ratchet up the difficulty bit at a time. Do a little bit of this. And again, there's like levels to the degree to where you're studying. These are still abstract studies. Do a few of these things and then just go draw your normal stuff for fun, right? That's what's important. The idea is important. Having fun while you're drawing is important. If you find that these are tricky, as I said, go back and just, you know, try and get your ability to draw cubes or some basic things as solid as that can be, because then you find that there's follow-on. There's a flow to how these things support each other. But yeah, hopefully that has been interesting. Let me know in the comments. This is a little bit more of a technical one, which I do sort of apologize for. And the real challenge here is that I think both as a drawing teacher and as a student, what I remember, and I still find this kind of frustrating, is that it is hard to know where to approach this from. There's 4 or 5 things that you absolutely need to get right in order to start rotating these figures around and drawing them from different angles. And there's no linear way you can do it, I think, that gives you some amazing solution where you just do A, B, C, and then all of a sudden it magically works. It's a progression. Again, as I say, people can get really good at drawing cubes, and then they, you know, can't transfer those skills to their more interesting fun drawings. And likewise, you know, if you just kind of keep doing this but you don't study the perspective, then, you know, you're going to find it a little bit harder to you know, draw these things from different angles, and it's certainly going to take you a lot longer to get those things sorted. So it's a matter of doing all of these things and trying to figure out where they fit into your art journey, where they fit into your particular way of doing things. And I think the most important thing is to look for failure. Look for places where you aren't understanding things, but jump in first. Don't be afraid. It's okay if you try these things and they don't work. Don't freak out. Just step back and say, hey, what do I need to learn? Which fundamental thing am I not getting? You know, am I just completely not lining these things up? In many cases, it is just one of the biggest problems that you'll face is just people will be trying to draw these kind of lines and they're not even remotely going to the same vanishing point. There's a lack of accuracy. So that's where, again, just building your ability to draw straight lines, to develop grids. Again, I'll link to that video in the description. Just making sure all of that stuff is solid will help immensely. But this is a long game. This is a long journey. If you're partway along the journey, then again, you probably sort of know that already. There's no trick. As I said, you got to piece these things together in your subconscious mind a little bit at a time, and you slowly build structures that support each other. But I think what you have to understand is this does work, and you will get better at it a little bit by a little bit over time. So good luck with this. Let me know if you got any questions or comments down below. And but that's all I got for now. We'll catch you around. Happy drawing.
Excuse me. I'm here to pick up a dwarf.
Oh, yeah. Drunk and disorderly and riding a children's tricycle down a dual carriageway.
Right. They get press charges.
Well, if you're happy to take him into your custody.
Yeah, okay, whatever.
Let's have it.
That's what I mean. As soon as I even think they're in a film, they're going to get wasted.
My name is Maximus Minimus, and I'll have my end away with your wife or the next.
We had to confiscate his sword.
I've got my own sword, my bog sword. Ha! Whoa!
He's thrown up over his own penis.
Oh!
You're not getting in my car smelling like that.
No need to. I've got my bike.
No, Pete, you can't go on the bike. Not again. No, whoa! Stop! Pete, stop! Oh. Don't go on the dual carriageway. Take the back roads. Just, what is he? Oh. How long's that going to take him to get home? Oh, no, he's off. Look, he's just flailing like a dung beetle. Oh, it's pathetic.
Yeah, it's too easy. I tell you something I do know.
Go on.
Right? But I can't really get a question out of it.
Go on, just tell us.
There's a shadow somewhere.
It's already good, isn't it?
I'm loving it already.
No, right, there's a shadow, I think it was in America.
Yeah.
And it's on a quiet road. I'm guessing somewhere like Boston, that's what you mentioned.
Okay,
Right?
no.
Somewhere like Boston, and people at night used to see this shadow moving about, and they'd go, what's that? Right? And it got known, the town, the little local town got known for this shadow, but it didn't cause any problems. People
What are you
used to-
talking about?
Well, it was like,
Just, you've lost me.
What are you talking
no,
about?
do you know like some places get famous, like Scotland's got the Loch Ness Monster and that, but
No,
it doesn't
go
cause
on,
any.
yeah.
But it doesn't cause any problems.
It doesn't exist, go on.
Right, so there's this shadow walking about on the road.
What do you mean? No, what's he, again? Rubbish.
Right, so it's walking
Nonsense.
about.
Where did you read this? Where did you
It's
see
walking
this?
about. This was on the internet, and I'm
Oh,
sure.
sorry! Sorry! I thought it was shite. I didn't know it was on the internet.
Right, so this shadow is moving about, and
Independently of an object.
yeah, and the local mayor and that is like, yeah, it's a bit weird, but it's not harming anyone.
Ah, the mayor involved!
Was he elected to that post?
Hey, mayor, we got a problem down here. Seems like a shadow. Well, it's not causing any work. No, it's
Is it
just...
causing any problems?
Yeah, go on.
But that's the thing. It was left for years, and then it did start causing problems.
I see, that's it. If you leave these shadows to go unchecked, Rick, they go crazy.
Yeah.
You let them run amok in the city.
Yeah.
You've got to stand
What
around
did it do?
on
What did it
Roman
do?
shadows.
What did the shadow do?
It was pushing people off the bikes.
It was what?
It was pushing people off the bikes.
Oh!
I'll find out more for that next week. Right, that'll tease
Oh,
them.
you're a maniac!
We'll do more on that. We haven't had time for educating.
Please never have children.
Right, listen.
You are
Just promise me now you'll never have kids.
We haven't got time now
Okay,
for-
listen, alright, DJ Shadow, have we got time for the...
At the radio station, Hammond dragged us straight into a planning meeting with the show's rather nervous-looking producers.
Fill this in. So if we come out at the top of the hour here, you've got news, and then you've got sport, and then you've got weather.
Hold on a minute, it just says story there. What story?
These are items throughout your programme.
So we've got to think of things to talk about.
On the day we did this show, there was certainly no shortage of material. John Prescott, for instance, had been caught with his trousers down.
Is this not the single most amazing story ever?
And Charles Clarke had lost 1,000 immigrants. So what did James think would most interest the listeners?
Because when you're at the jet wash, should the bonger go off halfway through the cycle or at the end?
Also, the show was going out live, which could be a problem, given the loose connection between Jeremy's brain and mouth.
Right, the average weekly audience is about 250 to 300,000.
Not all of them are in invalid carriages.
Get this idea out of your head, please.
You said invalid carriages.
Well, what's the matter?
You will make sure he doesn't say things like that this afternoon.
What?
Well, you're
Right,
the
now I
expert,
want you to
aren't
show me how I can solve this 8-foot gorilla. What do you suggest I do?
The meeting rambled on for ages, during which time nothing got sorted.
The idea of reading the news butt naked.
And then, with just over an hour to go,
I still don't understand any of this.
So,
At 1:15 and 1:45, there are the headlines that James can read.
With half an hour to go, Jeremy suddenly announced, worryingly, that he'd been working on a plan.
Tonight, there won't be a single queue or jam in this region because I'm doing the travel on this show.
With 0 hour fast approaching, even Jeremy got busy.
Got it.
As I acquainted myself with the studio, James set about mastering some of the station's other technical equipment. With just a few minutes to go, 250,000 Southern Counties listeners were starting their journeys home.
Richard, where's the turntable? Brought the record.
Jeremy, there is no turntable. It's 2006.
And they were all expecting their usual slick and helpful drive time show.
You've got your interview first, haven't you, as well?
Who? What? What interview?
You've got, oh my God, that's me.
I haven't got the... No, James, you can't just nick
I've got
those...
MacArthur.
We were primed and ready.
BBC Southern Counties Radio.
Good luck, everybody.
Going to the bank holiday Monday.
Here we go.
Southern Counties Radio, I'm Alina Jenkins.
That shouldn't have happened. I'm going to fade it out and then you're going to talk.
Right.
Is that it? Is that your intro? Can I just say good afternoon? This is still BBC Southern Counties Radio. And if
We weren't what you'd call slick.
Can I do the weather?
Yeah.
I've lost it. Have you got the headlines?
Yeah.
I've got them.
Yeah. No, you do them.
I haven't got any headlines.
And the jingles Richard had brought along were dreadful.
So you think of this one, lads? It's great.
I've been driving in my car, listening to Jeremy Clarkson.
How much did you spend making those?
£5 a pop.
No matter, we would redeem ourselves with my new, brilliant and extremely complicated traffic system.
What I've done here is I've fixed up a link between the Highways Agency's headquarters in Godstone in Surrey, so I can see all the traffic cameras from all the motorways in the region. Now what's happening is we've got an outside broadcast truck at Godstone. It's firing its signal up to a satellite 22,000 miles in space, back down to White City in London. They're firing down to a switching station in Tunbridge Wells, and here we are in the studio looking, and if I can swing the camera around now, we can get it off the main pictures. I can even zoom in.
With full control of the cameras, Jeremy could reveal his big plan.
Instead of telling you where the traffic jams are, I am going to give you the registration number of the car that has caused them.
So, he's not just reporting on the traffic, he's bossing it about.
Brave. Now, who's this for coming down in a Volkswagen van? You're leaving a 200-yard gap there. Now, close up.
While Jeremy was shouting at the traffic, James and I were getting to grips with the music.
No, don't tell me. As promised earlier, it is Wang Chung and Dancehall Days.
Oh, you sprung that on me, rather. Do you want to do that again, James?
As promised earlier, it's Wang Chung and Dancehall Days.
Maybe just once more for me, mate.
Just play something else.
Oh, all right.
Oh, it's right.
Yeah.
He's no idea.
Yeah, you see. I'd just like to apologise.
BBC Southern Counties Radio Travel.
Hello, is that me?
That was slick.
It was time for another of Jeremy's rubbish travel reports.
Oh, no, look! Somebody, here we go. Somebody in a... It seems to be a Land Rover Discovery has jackknifed while carrying a trailer. No, it's a 4x4. It's a good job it was. That's why he's still alive. Lucky you didn't listen to the Liberal Democrats on that one. The two outer lanes of the motorway, please get out of them because they're blocked by an idiot in a Mitsubishi who's managed to crash into his own trailer. And people are moving over far too soon, which means that the motorway network is not being fully utilised. We paid for it. Drive right up to the crash, use it, and then get your window down and tell the man exactly what you think of his driving.
Precisely.
Oh, no, what we've got here is a travel flash, actually. My thanks to Janice. She tells us that in Dorking High Street, a caravan has come adrift of the car blocking one lane. The police are in attendance. Police, are you armed? I hope they are. They could take it out and just shoot the drivers.
Thank you very much. That's the travel with Jeremy Clarkson.
Even we could see the show was pretty bad. But then it got worse.
Gotta ask yourself the
Hammond mistimed a trip to the loo, and while he was in there, a song finished.
Hello? Is there somebody there? Is anybody there? Hello?
Come on!
Oh.
Then I forgot I was going out live. Well, he's ginger and he's Welsh.
Okay.
And then we upset the station's sports reporter.
204 for 9, the latest score. Karl Pilkington 45. Rana is 26 not out. 3 wickets apiece for Dominic Thornley and Sean Irvine. As for Surrey, they're going much...
That happens. 53 for 3, is that good? I don't understand.
They've scored 253 runs and they've lost 3 wickets, sir. It is cricket. It's a game that's been played in this country for about 300 years.
What, the same
Why
game?
don't you get the Observer's Book of Cricket, which will tell you all of the regulations that you need to know, and then you'll be okay. Well, now... I'm sorry.
Worse still, my traffic system really wasn't working out as planned. The cameras were not able to give enough detail, so my reports were becoming a little vague.
Jeremy, go.
It's all completely hopeless. Everywhere I can see people in Astras, M25 Godstons jammed up at Junction 6, Barrow Green. Don't use it. Don't use it. Stay at work, be productive, and buy a helicopter.
It's not particularly helpful what you're telling them there, Jeff.
No.
I therefore decided to personalise my reports.
Hello there.
Hello, how are you?
Bit fed up as I can't work out whether I'm supposed to be turning off the M25 or not. We're trying to get home tonight.
Where are you? So you're
I'm going anti-clockwise.
Anti-clockwise. You, my son, have had it.
Oh, thanks a lot.
I'm screwing it up.
With the traffic system ruined, we were running out of things to say.
Which is, if you use a jet wash, should the bonger on each cycle go off at the end of the cycle or in the middle? If the bonger goes off at the end of the foamy brush cycle and you've only done the bonnet, you've had it.
The switchboard began to light up with angry listeners, one of whom was called Mrs. Smith.
Mrs. Smith. Hello, Mrs. Smith.
I came home from work at 5 o'clock, and what a load of rubbish this is, and I think it's absolutely dreadful. I've been an avid listener to Southern Counties for a number of years. For God's sake, bring back Dominic, Busby and all the rest of them.
Yeah.
It's all a load of rubbish. Thank you and good night.
With the locals ready to lynch us, we decided to get out early.
This is a 9-minute song. By the time it's over, our show's over. We could. Do you want to walk through Brighton after the show we just did?
I've got the car around the back.
By the time this is over, we can.
No, just back. They're down the back stairs. Sorry, down the stairs. Yeah.
Right. I'm going.
Sorry.
MacArthur's Park is melting in the dark.
If you go to places that you're in danger of being kidnapped, you're meant to have a code word. So that when the people who've nicked you call up the London office, they go, we've got Ricky, Steve and Karl here.
Right.
And the London office go, yeah.
Give us your code word.
Well, at the time, it was Congress tart.
Congress tart? How are you going to slip that into a conversation?
No, you don't slip it in. They've got a bag over your head, gun to your head or whatever, tell them you've been kidnapped, and you go, Congress tart, and they go, bloody hell, he's been kidnapped. Before you know it, the A-team's coming in.
Right. So, ring, ring. Hello, Karl, mate, how's it going?
Congress tart.
What?
Congress tart.
Rick, who's on the phone, mate? It's Karl. He said Congress tart, so he's definitely been kidnapped. Who are they? What do they want?
Right. Who am I talking to now? Because
them. Ask them.
What do you want? He's asking what you want.
Well, there's no one here to do that bit of role-playing, so maybe you should tell me what they're saying.
They said, they just said they want to use me as bargaining power.
But what do they want? What do they want? We'll see if we can...
But what do you actually want? Oh. What would they want? Is it money? Give them money. Okay, £5 million.
Too much. I'm not spending that sort of cash. I've worked hard for this.
You don't do that.
I'm not spending that cash.
You see, this is what worries me.
I'm not spending £5 million to get you back.
That's what's worrying.
No.
Because that's what would have happened.
Can't we negotiate? Put them on.
Yeah, here's Ricky.
Right, you've got to play him as well, though. Hello?
Hello?
Who's that?
Never mind who it is. Where's me £5 million?
Can't afford £5 million at the moment.
We're going to kill this kid if you don't give us the £5 million.
How can
We're
you call
getting
him a
sick
kid?
of him.
Why? What's he doing?
He's just shouting Congress tart. Give him the money. Give us the money.
Okay.
I wouldn't have got him to call you, actually. There's no way. There's no way.
Okay, let's have a break. Oh, God. Oh, God.
Do you know the other week when I came up with, like, a different idea of how we can sort of make the world run and that?
Can we just have a quick recap of that? Because I seem to remember it was a load of old arse.
It was ridiculous. It was he was saying that the world is overpopulated, so the system would be where people were living too long and stuff. So what happens is people live till 78. I don't know how you can enforce that, right?
Yeah.
But when they die, they've got a little baby in their stomach,
Right.
like a pip in an apple,
Yeah.
that then carries on when they die.
Right.
It wasn't a theory. It was an idea. It was the ramblings of a mental
You're
case.
saying it's stupid, but someone's emailed in and said, "Oh yeah, that's pretty good." Just saying. If that's a no, right? I've been thinking.
It is a no.
What about if we do it the other way, right?
Ah,
go on.
Somehow, I don't know how.
A kid has an old lady.
That's what it's going to be, isn't it? A child that gives birth to an old man.
No. What I'm saying is, right?
Go on.
Work the other way round.
Come on then.
So if somehow we can inject something in like a body that's just died, right?
Listen to this. Imagine this is notes. So when he hands it into the Nobel people, and they go, if there's a way that we can inject something, they go, well, what? Well, I don't know the chemical formula, but something HO2.
Right. So anyway, so you inject it in the temple.
He's narrowed it down to the temple.
So what happens?
She sort of wakes up,
Amazing.
right? And she works the other way. So, like, she might be 77.
Yep.
And then she'll have a birthday, she's 76. And she's working that way.
Right.
If you know what I mean.
Okay.
Are you with me?
No, keep it.
Because the thing is, you've got...
I'm really scared.
Yeah.
I'm really scared. This is the maddest thing you've ever said.
Yeah.
This is madder than the old lady with the pip like an apple in her belly.
It sort of did work.
This is...
No, it didn't work. It worked in your head. It's like a dream that you wake up and go, oh, I've got a great theory.
This is it. Let me just tell you the ending, because the endings works out a bit better.
Go on.
What I'm saying is, when you die, at the age of...
78.
9 months...
What?
At the age of 9 months, because that's when you come out.
What do you mean when you die at the age of 9
You're
months?
not scared of dying because you're now a baby, so you don't know what's going on anyway. So there's no fear.
So you've missed out a bit here. So this woman, what, literally gets younger and younger?
I think when she's in her 20s, she's in her old age, Rick.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter because that's the fun part of your life, isn't it? When you're 20 and you've got all your energy and that. So before you die, you're actually having a good life, rather than it being the other way around.
But does she do different stuff than she did on the way up? Because she's already lived 78 years, hasn't she? Don't forget. She was a baby once, and she grew to her years. Then someone stuck a needle in her head and said, right, back you go.
No, but forget all that bit.
Forget all that bit. How do we forget that bit?
What I'm saying
So
is...
she died and she doesn't remember all her... This is a new life, is it?
Let me just leave you with this.
Right, you're talking shit. Explain yourself.
But aren't the family getting younger as well? What's happened to the family?
Forget it then, we'll leave it as it is.
No, leave it as it is, shall we?
Shall we? Can we all agree on that, guys, now? Should we agree to leave it as it is? Is that alright? Because I don't want to hear any more from the diaries of Charles Manson.
No, I mean, you're a fucking maniac.
Seriously, what about this?
We're not going to sort that out today.
Idiot abroad. Fool's gold. I give you $1 million to spend, and you've got 1 year to make 2 million.
I've got to double $1 million.
Yeah. You can gamble, you can put it all on a horse, or you can put a little bit on a horse. You go to Dragon's Den. You go, look, I've got an idea. Clippable mug. What about the tie with, like, you can carry scissors in and stuff?
That's already out there.
Is it? What was the first thing you do with that? If I said you've got a year to make 1 million, and you've got this million.
Just do loads of stuff.
Go on then. What's the first thing? What do you do?
Antiques and buy antiques, flog them on, art.
Right.
I buy a house in Bulgaria.
What do you know about
Whoa. You're going to buy a house in Bulgaria. That's your first thought. How much is the house in Bulgaria?
100 grand.
Right. How much do you want to sell it for?
I'm going to sell it for 200. I'm going to do it all.
You're going to double your money on a house within a year.
Easy.
You've got to make 130.
Oh, yeah, I'm spinning plates here. This is
Go on, what else?
So you've got to keep flying to Bulgaria to check on the
I've got the local builders on it.
Right. In Bulgaria?
Yeah, plate spinning.
Right.
Antiques on the go. I'm buying scratch cards.
You're buying scratch cards?
I buy a load of scratch cards.
How many?
5,000 scratch cards.
Right.
I'd have some kids doing that. I'd say, right, you can have a £5.
You're giving it...
I haven't got time.
I'm giving it them to do.
This is the worst idea I've ever heard.
How
That
long have I got to
my
do
million's gone, isn't it?
Yeah,
No, it hasn't.
I mean,
It hasn't. If you've got money, you make money. That's a fact.
Where is Bulgaria?
It's somewhere. I know Bulgaria is good for property. I've seen
Right.
a lot of property programs.
Do you
That's
mean
what I do. I just
Belgravia?
watch. No. There's a lot of things that you can do with property, antiques. I'm
What
buying
else?
classic cars and doing them up.
So you're doubling your money on a classic car in a year?
Yeah, but I've made stuff. I've made inventions.
What have you
I
done?
do the Dragon's Den. Like you say, the clippable mat idea. Like, you have your cup there, but look at that saucer. Every time I have a little bit of tea, I'm talking to you, I've got to go like that. I've got to look exactly where I'm putting it again.
Right.
The clippable mat is stuck on. It's attached to it at all times.
That's
I'm talking
ridiculous.
to you. How's it going? And if I want, I'd have to put it down there. I could put it down there. I'm not limited as to the surface that I can put it on. It's attached. It's washerproof. Dishwasher-proof. It's an idea.
I'm out.
This is good. Cools you down. That's going to give you a headache, not get rid of one. Look how complicated it is just for a toilet. You have the skill of Bill Gates. Just have a shit. You can't do any of that. Can't do that stuff. But it's a robot. It's a crisp picker-upper. If you want some crisp but you don't want to get crisps on your hands, you use a crisp picker-upper.
I like the fact that you've got a bit of a rebellious streak in you sometimes. You go off-road. And I called you when you were in Japan, and you dropped this bombshell that you've finally decided the one thing you want to do before you die. And that was to invent something. And you said it's because you wanted to leave a legacy, which I thought was brilliant.
Well, just because you're dead longer than you're alive, aren't you?
Okay.
I'm coming up with stuff all the time. That's why I think this is my strength that hasn't been used yet. I can't do this sort of thing, really, this sort of job of being on the telly. Look at Dyson. It's only a vacuum cleaner, yet he's up there with Einstein and everything. He's well rated, just for a vac. And I reckon I can come up with something better than that.
It doesn't have to be a cure for cancer. I'm not going to come up with that. All I can do is come up with something that I needed at the time and that I think other people will go, do you know what, that's a bloody good invention.
So something that benefits mankind?
Yes.
Okay.
He pitched me the idea over the phone, and I said, I'm out.
OK, well, pitch it to me now, then.
Right. In Japan, they don't have these...
You mean they don't have...
chairs.
They don't have chairs?
Yeah, of course they have chairs.
You try finding one. Sit on the floor all the time. When you go in a restaurant, you sit down cross-legged. You get a flat arse and your legs ache.
Yep.
Right?
So you've invented what?
It's the Pilko pump pant.
I'm sorry, the Pilko pump pant.
It's a pair of pants with a cushion built in the arse.
The inflatable pant stops your arse from getting wet. For men or women. Do you know the thing you put on your neck when you're on long flights?
Yeah.
I've used that. That isn't how the finished thing would look when I make it. You know, this is a prototype. Pilko pant.
Excellent.
I sold some on a shopping channel. You're slagging them off, you're saying I'm out. Watch this.
But this is the lovely man I was talking about. It is our lovely Carl to bring you some trousers.
All right, how's it going?
Hello.
Good one. Morning, everyone. Hope you're well. It's the pants we're selling today. Look at that. Not bad, that, is it? You've come on the telly to flog me a pair of pants. We know about pants. We've seen pants before. You haven't, have you? You haven't seen these pants. It's that bit there, that's the seller. That's what we're here for. That's what we're talking about. It's the Pilko pump pant. The way it works is you've got a big zip, a good quality zip. Look at that. Doesn't stick. It's a quality zip. Quality zip. All right? Open it. There it is. There's the cushion. You might have one of these already. Shove it in there. You know you're going to be sat down for a while. You're waiting for that order of the sofa. You're waiting at the bus stop. You haven't got a seat because the queue's big. The buses are delayed. Where you're going to sit. But the beauty is you can sit where you want. Sit on concrete. Sit on the road. Not on the road. That's dangerous. Sit on the pavement. Sit on grass. How good is that? And there's only 15 pairs available. 15 pairs in the whole world. Do you want to be one of the 15?
Still 15 left.
To have the Pilko pump pant.
Look at him. Look at him in them.
There you go.
It's terrible.
Show you how easy it is again.
It looks like some sort of medical procedure, doesn't it?
That's what people would think if they saw you walking in.
They think that you think you've had your arse removed.
Get rid of that. Look at that for a pocket. Look at that. Like I say, we're carrying more and more stuff around with us.
Think of carrying stuff in that.
Your arse rattling around with stuff, mobile phones,
football,
laptops, iPads, all that lot.
Fruit.
Look at that. Look at the size of that.
Who's
pocket.
putting a laptop in their arse?
Bread. You nip out to the shop.
Milk, loaf, bread.
You don't buy a carrier bag. They're charging you 5 pence a bag at the moment at the supermarket.
Yeah.
No, I'm not buying a bag. You just turn round at the cash point, stick your milk in there, stick your bread in there, off you go. A big, big pocket. You've got this. Health and safety these days. You've got that in there. You like a walk. Maybe buy some for your young kid. You're walking by the canal. He falls in. Is he a good swimmer? I don't know. You tell me. But if he falls in, he's got something to keep him buoyant.
Upside down, like that. He's like that. He's drowning.
Like it might be
I'm
just saying, there's a possibility that it could help you out if you fall in a canal, a lake, a river. Anything else? Anything else goes? Hang on, let's see how the orders are going. Have we had anyone calling in yet? 2 people on the phone. What do they want? Do they want to talk to me, or is that just... They've gone. We've sold them. Job done. Brilliant. Cheers for that, everyone. These are how they look in real life.
This is the Pilky pump pant.
Pilko pump pant.
Yep.
Okay. I mean, it looks ridiculous. It does look ridiculous.
So does most fashion these days.
Okay, no, good, yeah, no, yeah, if it was... Yeah, no, you're right, yeah, it's all arbitrary.
Down.
Yeah.
Why are you sitting
Well, here's the chair, you don't need a chair. That's doubled up. You must be too comfortable. Sit on the floor.
All right.
Sit on the floor there, because that would be...
And I suppose particularly useful if you've had a finger up the arse.
Right, there you go. So...
Right.
Yeah.
Dead comfy.
Yeah.
Really comfy.
Carl, can you go and bring me my sort of bread and milk and stuff that I...
Have you got 5 pence for a carry bag?
I haven't, no.
Well, I haven't. Hang on, don't worry about that. See you in a minute. What did you want? Bread and milk?
Some groceries, yeah.
Look, imagine walking down the street wearing that.
Absolutely ridiculous. Carl, it looks... it looks fucking ridiculous.
He doesn't know.
It does. It looks
like that.
No one will walk down the street like that.
Hang on.
Hold on, Carl. I bought you
No, look,
Carl.
There's no restrictions.
I've bought you a couple of cups and saucers. Yeah. Can you take? I bought you these for you.
Got a bag?
I haven't got a bag. No, just pop them in there.
Pop them in.
Yeah.
You see,
Yeah, just. Oh, well, can you?
Shove them in.
Yeah, just put them in there. There you go. Yeah. So
Right.
what you say? Good. They're safe for that. Yeah. All right. Okay. All right. Yeah. Good.
Run for the bus, mate.
Quick. 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 Suzanne's at home. Oh, here comes Carl.
Here comes Carl with our new crockery.
Honestly, that isn't pulling me down or anything. That is fine.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
No, well, you'd bubble wrap them normally, wouldn't you?
God!
Unbelievable. We do, of course, Rick, every week get thousands of emails. Emily from New York has asked Carl this. Carl, if you were on a sinking ship or you were in a burning building and you were with myself and Ricky, but you could only save one of us, I don't know why that's the case, but you can only save one of us, who would you save? Would it be Ricky or would it be me?
I think it's a 2-man dinghy.
Right, okay.
Possibly. And we're trapped, and he knows that if he stays there to get both our legs out from under this thing...
the girder.
Yeah, he dies. So he's got room, he's got time to save one. It's obviously me.
It's hard to say, isn't it, at this point?
What, because Steve's in the room, you mean?
Well, no, just because we don't know what the situation is.
Okay, well, let's say we're on a sinking ship, all right? So you're going to have to rescue one of us, drag us into the dinghy.
It's going under. You know, in 30 seconds, okay, this ship's going to go under and drag you down and you're going to die, right? And our legs are trapped and you've got enough time to untangle one set of legs. Whose legs do you untangle?
Now, just because my legs are long does not necessarily mean it's more complicated.
No, it's exactly the same amount of time. Just have to make a choice. A terrible choice that Steve would not, hate you for.
Well, no, listen,
But don't think he won't be around for long. He's going to drown in 30 seconds.
Well,
Forget him.
Bear in mind this, Carl. You are going to be stuck in a dinghy with Ricky Gervais, and who knows how long that's going to take. Think of all the head squeezing that's going to be going on, the comments, the wind up. And do you honestly think that he's going to, if there's any provisions, that he's going to split them evenly with you? I mean, he's going to have drunk all the water, and there's only going to be about half an hour in. The food's going to be gone. Look at his gut. Look how much, of the food he's going to have to eat, the baked beans that you've got on board. Whereas me, you know how generous I am. I'm always sort of helping you out.
Oh, there we go, Carl. I think he's put the nail in his own coffin there. You know how generous I am, Carl. Let's talk about that, Carl. Come on, think about that one.
Yeah, I mean, have you forgot about that, Steve?
What?
The time when we went for a coffee and we had to have a bit of a heated debate about the 50p change.
Yeah, you owed me 50p, and you decided you didn't want to give it to me because it was only 50p. And my point was, it's not a question of 50p, it's the fact that it's not your decision to decide not to give it to me. If I want to be generous, that's my decision. But you can't go, oh, it's only 50p, Steve.
It's my decision who
But you just given him a free keg of beer.
Yeah.
But that did not come to you, and you didn't pay for the free keg of beer. It was a promotional thing that was sent to you.
It's the same thing as the way I gave Suzanne my leaving present from my last job.
A lot of people may not be aware of this if they haven't heard us talking about it before. Yes, but you had a gift from your work as you were leaving after however many years of service, which you then gave straight to your girlfriend without telling her that it had been received from people at work.
Doesn't matter. She wanted a camera. It's the same thing as you. You wanted that lager that I got for free. It hasn't cost you anything. It doesn't matter where I got it from.
So you now decide, because you've given me a free crate lager, that you can now say, oh, actually, I'm not, in the future, I'll just take your money, Steve, on a whim.
Well, listen, stop arguing like this. You're rocking the dinghy. Carl, have some of my cheese.
Imagine he would ever say that. Can you imagine him ever offering you any of his cheese?
Are you going to save Carl, mate?
I don't want to say.
Well, think about it, and
I might do a sort of a for and against or something, and then so the conclusion is
okay, all right. I think people have got to remember that he's like my best friend, and if there was 3 people agreeing, it wouldn't be a funny show. So I certainly take on the role as class bully. Steve takes on the role of professorial mediator. But it's just to get the best out of Carl, and he always wins. I can tell you, he says something, and there it is. There we've got it.
I get the impression that you don't really care what Ricky's saying to you. I just get the feeling it's not like you go home at night worrying about it.
No, I mean, you got to remember I'm 37. I'm not like going on to my mum and dad going, they're picking on me again. I'm 37, and sometimes I say stuff back, don't I?
Yeah. And it's made him £1 million.
That's it?
That's there.
Bloody hell.
No, but it's not. It doesn't bother me anymore. I've got used to it. I mean, it started off slowly.
But as anyone who doesn't realise it's with his blessing, he wouldn't do it again. We've known each other now for 10 years. Me and Steve have known each other for, 12, 13 years. It's like, that's what mates do. That's how I was brought up. That was the whole thing. You poke someone until they come back. And you don't mind if they come back with a zinger.
And Eric, if you want.
I can poke him now.
I don't like it when they both do it, because that's what happened at XFM that day when you both were having a go at me, and I said, right, forget it. And I left. That's the only time when you pushed me over the edge.
Yeah.
When I left, I went and got a train and went to
Hastings.
Hastings on the train.
Remember that?
Yeah.
I remember the famous Hastings incident.
Yeah.
What, during the radio
show? Yeah, about 15 minutes to go. I said, forget this. And I went. And then I turned my phone off, and then got to Hastings. I had a walk along the pebbles and that. Put the phone on. He left a message going, "You seemed a bit down today, mate. Was it something I said?"
Was this something I said? I've been winding him up for 2 hours, and I said, "Was this something I said?"
You were planning to go to Hastings. You didn't just go to Hastings on a whim.
No,
that day.
I called up Suzanne. I said, "I've had a bad day today.
Let's go.
Let's go to Hastings. Get away from it."
And then he said, "You'll never wind me up again. You'll never break me again." I don't think I ever have I?
Nah.
I think what we have done, and this might have been a coincidence, but I think we've inflamed his quest for knowledge. He still finds out his own things. He still believes in what he believes in, whatever we say. But at least now he's sort of belligerent in what he wants to find out.
I disagree, Rick. He's not learned anything.
No, I think he has.
But as you said, no, you say by your own
picked up
admission.
some stuff.
By your own admission, you say a fact goes in the air, and you have to lose another fact in order to make space for the new one. So therefore, you'll forget everything you've already learned.
Yeah,
You've said that. That was your own explanation.
Knowledge needs at least the chance of application, not just flicking through a book and seeing everything. Unless you're Rain Man, that's not knowledge.
What have you learned?
Since when?
Well, since we've been in the last year.
Matthew asked him this question on the way here. Okay, he said, "What's the last film you saw, Carl?" He went, "What do you mean?" I said, "You can't be more specific." What's the last film you saw, Carl? That is all the information you need. He said, "What do you mean?"
But I just kind of meant there's a lot. You see in adverts of films all the time.
Didn't ask that.
That's not what he meant, though. Everyone knows that. Everyone knows the last film you saw.
Yeah.
Edge of Darkness, Mel Gibson. That's my answer. Boom. What's the last thing you learned? Tell me something you've learned in the last year that is a really useful, interesting tidbit.
It's not like that though. I might have learned to do a bit of plastering.
Yeah.
I've put coving up.
It's good.
I've done electrics.
Absolutely
It's
brilliant.
not a fact.
No, more. That is.
But that's not what you're talking about. Then you haven't inflamed him. You don't inflame him to do some coving.
But that is more useful in the world than pointless facts of people who go through things to win quizzes.
Don't say that we've educated him because we haven't. We've got nothing to do with the COVID.
No, but he realised that he was wasting his time. He realised on a podcast that he was worthless. I called him up once, right? We're doing another podcast. It said number 1. It's like the 10th we put, and now we've got this. We're being sold around the world. I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "Just pulling some shit out of a drain." Do you remember that?
I do remember that. Yeah. But they're the things I like doing because at the end of the day, you've done something. You haven't had to pay someone else to do it.
Yeah.
That's what I hate. Being ripped off.
Yeah.
I hate that. That's what's important to me. Keeping my hand in.
Yeah.
In some shit.
Yeah. It's up to your elbow,
not just sat in a room talking like this, because this isn't a proper thing, is it? It's not a proper job, this. I like something where you can stand back and go, "I've fixed that."
Yeah.
I've done that. That's like going back to basics, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what cavemen were like. Done that, sorted that.
We've got to get a system where we're just shitting everywhere. We need to invent a toilet.
Yeah. You don't get it because you don't do it. I've never called you up and you've had your hand down a drain full of shit. You've never done it.
No, I call a plumber.
Yeah, but you're getting ripped off. Call out charge, 80 quid.
Yeah. Oh, the joke's on me, innit?
Doesn't matter.
Joke's on me. I didn't pay a fucking thing.
It's just what I enjoy doing, really. It's the
Brilliant.
manual bit. But I can't think of a fact. Like
Do you know what he said? In a couple of years' time, he'd like to get a little part-time job in B&Q.
Why wait a couple of years? Just get going now.
It's just that I'm down there a lot. That's where I sort of like to wander.
So if you're
There's
down
always
there,
a new tool that I didn't know was out. Yeah, I can see myself sort of working there when I'm older. Yeah.
What
I mean,
sort
I
of
help
age?
people now. Like, if
40?
I hear people, I overhear old people saying, "Oh, I'm struggling finding the coat hooks," and I go, "Aisle 4."
you might as well get paid for it. Yeah.
I love it. Though.
Oh dear.
Home base.
What, home base or B&Q?
Prefer home base.
Do you?
I can never find any staff in home base.
Can't you have 2 part-time jobs? Because you could do what, half in B&Q, half in home base.
Co-ops are a different place in B&Q then.
Yeah.
Confusing.
What's your ideal job now? If someone said you can do anything you want, it's a 40-hour week, you get paid whatever you're earning now, what do you want to do?
No, if I'd like to do anything, I've always said about being a surgeon or a doctor.
That's not going to happen, mate. That is not going to happen.
No, but you said I could be anything.
No, but given your abilities.
Well.
Getting shouted range. Yeah.
No, I know, but that's what I'm saying. I know I'm not, you know.
Well, why don't you go to medical school?
I think it's too late now.
Well, you probably now with your profile, you could probably have a little go. You know what I mean? They let celebrities, like pilots always go, "Do you want to come up the cockpit?"
No, it will
with
happen.
me?
I think that's like the next X Factor style thing, isn't it? Yeah. That's the next thing to do.
Yeah.
It's a way of getting new people interested, young people into jobs that we need cover for. We've got loads of singers now.
Yeah, we don't need another singer. No one's going, "Oh, I need another singer." No.
I'm sick of it. Everyone's singing. It's like we're living in an opera now. Everyone's singing more than they're talking.
They did a survey, it was on the radio yesterday, amongst kids. 54% of them said they wanted to be famous when they grow up. 15% wanted to go into either doctors or nurses. 54% just wanted to be famous. Non-specific.
You
Bad,
could be a
isn't it?
famous doctor. I prefer to be a famous doctor than known for doing what we do.
Which one? Dr. Crippen? Dr.
Just
Dre?
just a good one that everyone goes, he's good.
Dr. Fox is the best.
Yeah.
Just a brain surgeon. Hearts. Be good, that. Be a good feeling at the end of the day.
Not for the family, it wouldn't. I did like Knob News. I hated Rockbusters. It was annoying. He said every week he said it was a cryptic clue. It wasn't a cryptic clue. It was might as well have said, "What am I thinking?" Because none of the clues worked. Absolutely ridiculous. Many of them racist.
I don't remember much of the Knob News.
A famous one was a bloke who grew a penis on his arm.
Why did he do that?
Because they had to give him graft it on. They couldn't do it on. They had to take his old one off, or he'd lost it, and so they grew it on his arm.
He was embarrassed, dropping his pants all the time at the doctors, and they put it there, easy access, in and out quicker.
What?
That's not
that
true.
That was the story, wasn't it? That's what we're
fucking
talking about.
wasn't.
What, he was having a piss from his arm?
No, he'd lost his penis.
Sorry, Rick, sorry if I didn't quite get it right. I didn't realise it was...
Right.
He didn't make it quite clear.
Apparently he'd lost his penis, right?
Right,
but
so
they
grew one on his arm?
So no, they grew his back on his arm. So to keep it alive while they were sorting something out, he had a horrendous accident.
Right.
So they couldn't put it back there, but they needed to grow it on something, so they grafted it onto his arm to just grow it there before the operation.
That makes sense, but what's he talking about?
He made it up.
Embarrassed?
He embellished. He made it up.
He was embarrassed to have it. He didn't like dropping his trousers.
I think he thought it was someone else's at first. Like they were growing knobs on this bloke's arm. They go, "We need to grow a knob." I know a bloke's arm. It was perfect. He's got the most fertile knob growing arm.
We haven't done Knob News for ages.
No, I wonder why. Why did that die out? Why did that die out? There probably wasn't a lot of Knob News in the world to keep it as a feature. Trevor McDonald, here's Knob News.
Channel 4 has very wisely got itself in bed with us with our our new animated series in which Ricky, Karl and myself take on animated form, but the conversations are all real.
They're all real.
Real life conversations that we've had over the years.
They're not manipulated, they're not redone, we don't say let's do that again, it's not scripted. It really is conversations that we've had over the last 6 or 7 years, and they've taken snippets and sort of animated it behind our back, so to speak. It already existed, and they've brought it to life. And he lends himself so well to animation because he has these ridiculous flights of fancy, and I think they've done a really good job. Thoughts, Karl? What's your hopes?
All right.
Yeah?
I just always worry about the first few aren't as good. It's the other way round to most films, I'd say.
So keep watching. If you like the first couple, keep watching because it gets better and better.
But you can't remember the last time you saw a film. What do you know about films?
No, but just in the way that normally you go, Rocky was good, and then it's like, oh, Rocky 6, give it up. Whereas I'd say by Series 6 of Us, it's a better stuff, I'd say.
But I
That's
think,
being honest.
Just they don't have to keep watching for the next 19 years of their life. Let's say that actually episode 2, series 1 is good. Let's say that. So they watch. Yeah?
I'm still...
No, don't watch,
I don't
don't
know,
watch it yet.
it's
Don't watch
too
it yet.
familiar
Don't watch
to me,
it.
maybe.
What? Yeah?
It may be too
should
familiar
they
to me.
watch the first series at all?
I'd say coming at about... All I'm saying is, watch it if you kind of go, I'm not sure about that.
Yeah.
Leave it a couple of weeks. Come in. You won't have missed anything. There's no sort of ongoing...
Nothing to miss?
No, because it's just a chat from one time.
It's not
So
great.
it doesn't matter.
It's not
There's
great.
no sort of... It's not like
I'm
a
not going to
soap.
watch it at all. I'm not going to... So...
Well, what you're doing is worse. You're saying, oh, it's great.
No, I'm not.
watch it, and
No, I'm
people
just
go,
asking you.
"Oh."
No, so don't. We don't know whether we don't. Difference of opinion. I think it's pretty good. He doesn't. I was on a plane last year. Okay, going from New York to LA. Okay, and me and my girlfriend were one side of the plane. There was the aisle, and the other side there were these two huge fat women. Okay, proper fat. One of them just got on and went, "Can I have a belt extension?" "Yeah, of course you can. You've earned it, right?" So, proper. In fact, I was thinking of calling the pilot out and going, "Should one of us swap with one of them? Otherwise, we're just going to Canada." Do you know what I mean? And one of them was even fatter than the other one. Okay, and she was there, and she'd got on the plane with one of those takeaway buckets of fast food. Bucket. I mean, there's your first clue. When did that happen?
When did fat people just give up? When did they go into a shop and go, oh, fuck it, just treat me like a farmyard animal? Really? Give me it in a bucket. In fact, just strap it to my fucking head and I'll just... A bucket? Really? You want your meal in a bucket? Yes. Right? So, she's there and she's chowing down, right? And I swear, she turns to her fat friend and says, this is the best fried chicken I've had all day. But I'm not having a go. I'm not having a go. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Because even though it is their own fault, and it is their own fault, I don't know if you know this about fat people, they fucking love cake. They love it. They love it, right? And I blame the food industries, because you go into the supermarket and it's just packed with that stuff. Everything's packed with hydrogenated fats and extra calories and sugar and butter and everything, and they love that, okay? And there's always a big door, isn't there, to a supermarket? It's always... They've got a quadruple door, isn't it? No one's ever been too fat to get through the door of a supermarket, okay? And it opens automatically, so they don't have to waste calories pushing anything. There's just... And it's a good job it opens automatically, because usually it's glass and they can see the pie from down the road and they're in like that. Grazing, right? So, I say, keep the big door, sure, keep the big door. Come on, fat people, come in you go. But when they get in there, it's all fresh fruit and veg. It's all whole grain, it's all stuff that's good for you, okay? Of course they'll be confused at first. They go, well, that's not real food to them. They think Brussels sprouts is packaging, right? They're looking, where's the cakes, where's the cakes? The cakes are over here, but the cakes are through a different door. But this door is human-sized, okay? So now they go, there's the cakes. They go, oh, fuck, I can't get in. I can't get through the fucking door. I can't. And they're starving. I go, oh, God, what's this? I've got to eat some, what's this, a banana? Right. And they go back, oh, no, I still can't. Back and have a carrot. They're back and forth for days, and the fat's fallen off them. Soon they can slip through the door and have a cake. They can't get out again. No, but I mean... But we've got to do something. We've got to intervene. And people say, no, it's nothing to do with you. It's up to them. It's their body. It's their life. And that's true. But we don't say that about wearing crash helmets. Or if you've got a heroin addict in the family, you don't go, oh, it's his life. He loves heroin. You know, you go, no, you've got to stop this. Please don't die. And you get him and you throw him in a cupboard for 3 weeks or something. You can't throw a fat person in a cupboard. You'll be back in like me. But, you know... Heroin addicts, they don't weigh anything, you can throw them around willy-nilly, right? But, in fact, when they're lying there with a needle hanging out, you just get the needle and flick, and they just go into the cupboard like that, okay? Fat people, you've got to lure them in. A little tray of the chocolates, and they just follow that anywhere, like that. But we've got to do something, because 1/3 of the world are obese, and 1/3 of the world are starving. The fat ones are eating the skinny ones' food, basically.
The Kooks, and she moves in her own way.
BBC DJ
Radio 1. Please welcome to the show lovely Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant and Karl Pilkington. Hello.
Hey.
One pencil clapping.
I was the lovely, wasn't I?
Yeah.
Or was that a communal lovely?
It was a communal lovely for everyone.
Okay, brilliant. No, I'm happy with that. Yeah, we're all lovely.
G-Man, I like the G-Man. Do you remember we were in before?
Yeah.
He's a good guy.
G-Man.
One of the good guys. One of the good dudes.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
It wasn't live, though, was it?
Oh, we had a lot
probably
of fun.
cut it all out, didn't he?
All the good stuff.
All the,
a lot of it was cut out. Of
Is this live now, Greg?
We are absolutely live.
So all the stuff cut out was probably that you don't play Gary Glitter anymore.
There was various bits that were cut out, and I definitely haven't kept the whole interview for my personal collection at home. I definitely haven't done that.
Why would that be a problem?
I don't know. It's true. It's just an observation.
Yeah. So, Ricky, you've been on this show. I've got to move on. You've been on this show a million times now. Welcome back again. Steve, this is your second go. Yep. But Karl, it's lovely to meet you.
All right, how's it going?
Really is this good. For the webcam, this right. So just get how round that head is. Don't get behind the microphone.
I've worked in radio, and you should never play up to what's going on in the studio.
Yeah. Really?
Think about the listener at home.
Right. When have we ever done that or cared? And when has Radio 1 ever done that or cared?
It's weird, Al. Now I'm back in a radio studio. That used to be my old job. I feel like I should be controlling a few things here. There's a few more people in here who don't need to be in here.
How would you sort out the G-Man show then? What's disappointed you so far?
Is there a bed playing under us at the moment?
There is a bed,
Get rid of that.
You want to get rid of it?
I think that annoys people, that.
Okay.
It's almost like saying what these people are saying now isn't worth hearing, so it's a little bit of music.
That's definitely true.
All right, put the music back on.
So you want the music on or off?
No, off. Okay. No, let's be interesting. Let's try and be interesting. Okay.
Right, what else
Go
would
on
you
then.
do?
What else
would you change?
You haven't got a wacky name, have you? It's just Greg James.
Yeah, shall I get that?
G-Man. G-Man.
G-Man.
No, don't do that. You did that with me. You called me the K-Man. I hated it.
Do you not like the
Well, yeah, but you didn't like us calling you an empty-headed, shaven chimp moron either.
That hasn't stopped us.
No, you can't win with Carl.
Anyway.
Have you been to Radio 1 before, Carl?
I have, yeah. I was on... is he still here? Still working here?
Who?
Nihal.
Yeah?
Yeah,
He's still
he was good.
Oh, he's good
He was
now,
good.
yeah.
He was all right. I met him. Lovely fella.
Good.
A lot of changes, though, all the time in radio. You never know what you're getting.
That's true.
Yeah.
But you've been here for a while now.
Apart from
3
Fluff
years.
Freeman, I mean, he was around for about 120 years. Yeah, maybe you'll be like Fluff one day.
Hopefully, pop pickers.
Yeah.
So what we're talking about then?
Well, I don't know. I mean, the lovely
you
thing.
don't know?
Well, no, I mean, talking about your new DVD. But
Yes, we've got the DVD out of the animated show taken from the podcast of the same name, the Ricky Gervais Show. But everyone knows who's listened to it, and there's been a lot of people. We've had about 230 million downloads. Okay, this is on TV in America and England. The DVD's coming out around the world, right? And it should be called, and I know this. It should be called the Karl Pilkington Show because it is the musings of a little round-headed
People struggle.
twonk.
People struggle with my name.
Do they? Really? Why?
Just the Pilkington. They can't say it. I don't know what's wrong. It's so easy. It's spelled as it looks.
Yeah.
Man, you've just been on Dale Winton's show. He called me Nigel. Normally it's a surname that's a problem. He called me Nigel. Seriously.
what did you call him in return?
No, well, I was a bit sort of... I was chuffed to be meeting him because I've watched him a long time.
He's a big fan.
I like
big
In It
fan,
to
aren't
Win
you?
It. I was telling him about In It to Win It. He wasn't that interested there, was he?
No.
It was just like he treated me like some fan. He just went, yeah, thanks for that.
You should have just called him Steve Wright.
Well, yeah. I liked him, though. He's a nice bloke, but he just annoyed me.
Greg, are you familiar with Carl? Have you heard the podcast or seen the
Absolutely.
animation?
I was going to say, well, I used to listen to the show on that radio station years and years ago when I was at school.
How would you, if you're listening, say there's someone listening at home, right? They love you, they trust you,
Yeah.
they respect you.
You are the demographic. These kids go, well, he's like
knows
our
what's going on.
leader.
Right. So, which I'm
That's
sure is true.
frightening, isn't it?
So,
Yeah.
you're not in school anymore, you're not being bullied, you're on the radio, you're all powerful.
You got long trousers, I noticed.
Exactly.
I have.
So, well done.
So, how would you explain Carl to people listening at home who are not familiar with him?
I think a muse.
Yeah, he is.
A wise sage.
I can't get enough of him. I mean, myself and Stephen, we sort of probably come across as sort of like bullying media types, but it's purely to get out what I know is in Carl's head, and he sees the world differently. He is a proper artist. You ask him anything you want about any subject, and it's remarkable. And I did the podcast just to be in a room with him, asking him questions and teaching him stuff. Like we feel like we're, I don't know, it's like an Eliza Doolittle. We're trying to make him, or we found something sort of and thawed it out, and it was from an era gone by.
One of my favourite bits is actually on this. I think it's the first episode of the series. Is the one?
Not impressed, Carl? First episode?
No, episodes 1 to 4 or 5, very, very weak.
Do you think?
Yeah.
That's
Honestly.
unbelievable.
He's trying
isn't
to
it?
sell this DVD.
We're trying to sell a DVD around the world, and he comes out with episodes 1 to 4 very weak.
But there was an ideal that you had about, you thought that old people should kind of die and then a child falls out of them when they. Can you
Let's hear
explain
the
that
theory
theory?
again.
Because it's a
Well, no, he
brilliant
thinks that
theory.
people are living too long.
I'm
What was the?
all
Do you think
ground.
that people are living too long?
He thinks people are living too long, he said, because people can't die anymore, because when you're dying, someone suddenly sticks a new lung on
No.
you. Lung.
There's
A
been
new lung on
loads
you.
of different theories.
Yeah,
There's
and
loads of
they've all
different
been
ideas.
mental.
Okay, let me hear, because I want to...
My favourite one, which I don't know if it's the same one that you're talking about, but the aging backwards thing
That's it. Yeah.
is good. But then a fella nicked it, didn't he? Made a film out of it with Brad Pitt. So now everyone's going, boo, it's not your idea.
Hang on, no, you weren't suggesting it as a film idea. You were suggesting we should do this in real life. Somehow we should make people grow backwards.
His suggestion of a film idea, he actually got a meeting with a film company, so this is the first episode of Series 2, won't be out till next year, but he had a meeting with a real film company. They said, have you got any ideas for films? And he said yes, right? And the thing that he told them was the ramblings of a madman.
Greg,
let's hear the idea, let's hear the idea.
I want to hear the idea again because it's
Imagine
people who
this,
haven't heard
though.
it. It's
Remember,
brilliant.
I'm going to a meeting with a film company in Soho, right? So I'm thinking, maybe they want me to play a part, right? I haven't tried acting. I did Little Donkey, in the Christmas play, but I was all right. I went down well on the stage. my acting job.
Let him finish his.
Well, your dad was filming it, wasn't he?
And he carried away, Ricky.
He got back, okay, and his dad has been filming it, right? And he listened back to his dad on the camcorder, and his dad said he looks like a right prat. And he heard that when he got home.
Yeah, but listen, anyway, so I go into this meeting, and I go, right, I'm Karl, you called me in. They went, yeah, sit down. Loads of croissants and that, you know what it's like in Soho.
Yeah.
Went in there, he said, right, listen, got any film ideas? Now, when you're in that situation, you've got to come up with something. It's like in The Apprentice. None of them people in The Apprentice ever go, oh, I don't know, I haven't got any ideas here. You've got to come up with something. And I find that if you just talk, stuff comes out.
Okay.
Because your brain's going, I've got to come up with something, so just keep going. So
bits of food, back.
No, but just just say anything for a bit.
Chewing gum, he should be chewing, but it just fell out because he was talking, hadn't concentrated on keeping it in.
It's false
Things
teeth.
like that, yeah.
Anyway, listen to this for a film idea, and then we can have a song.
Brilliant. You're in charge now, yeah?
So what I'd say is, I picked the actors for them. I said Rebecca De Mornay, and Clive Warren.
Right, yeah.
Right, so...
We pointed out that Clive Warren doesn't actually exist.
Well, no,
he means Clive Owen.
Clive Warren's a former Radio 1 DJ.
Brilliant. Well, he doesn't...
That's probably why it's in my head.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah. Rebecca De Mornay, who Steve pointed out, has not been on television or film for 15 years.
Out of anyone you
so
could
now he's pitched someone who doesn't exist and a woman who hasn't been on telly or
what
film
would you
for
do?
years.
Pick someone who's in everything.
Okay.
Let's get Will Smith. Boring.
Right, okay.
Sick of seeing him. Where's Rebecca?
Biggest film star in the world.
So what? I'm sick of him.
Warren, he was on Capital Radio for a while.
He's in every film. Where's Rebecca?
Yeah. Rebecca who?
In the morning.
I don't know. Who's that?
Shut up.
I want to see Dangerous Dave Pearce in a movie.
Let's have a song.
This is Bass Hunter.
Oh dear, now this is quite a nice email from Paul. He says, let Karl know that I have a Chinese friend called Oi. Imagine the confusing and amusing situations we get into.
We're out and about in busy Soho.
Does his surname come here?
Lightning wit from Karl.
Wait till you're 30.
Yeah, I know.
Brilliant.
Is that good?
People love the webcam. I don't know what they're interested in, because all they get is a picture of Karl's big head.
It's not a big, it's just round.
Yeah.
Oh.
Got it right.
Yeah. And we've still got Karl to take off my sock for 20 quid. Okay? Let's do it now. Let's just get it over with and do it now.
Come on, Karl, let's get our cash out then, Rick. There's £10 right there.
No, you don't owe him, because he owes you 10, so I just have to pay him 10.
Okay.
Yeah. So, go on then, just take...
Not whilst co-player here.
So, they've had to shoot off. My suspicion is that, like the cow story, the worm story is not true.
But
and Robin...
why would he get so sort of uppity about it?
Well, imagine if that wasn't the first time he'd done it. Imagine if he did that every single time he was with somebody for the first time and Robin was just met them. He will tell that story to anyone.
But they do say there's no smoke without fire.
Oh, Robin! I also told him...
That's a fable.
I also told him...
I mean, one of the other contestants on the Fat Club, Celebrity Fat Club, is another one is Jono Coleman.
Oh, we love Jono.
Now, Jono, I don't know, you know Jono, he's that guy who does, he used to be on TV, and I think he does a breakfast show on a rival station, doesn't he?
He's happy, isn't he?
He's so trivia, and he's a really nice bloke, Jono, but...
It's funny, because he does a breakfast show on Heart, which is wrecking his own. There's a bit of irony.
Oh, I love Karl.
Thanks, Karl.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I love you.
I can see where you're coming from.
Yeah, that's good.
I don't blame him, because, I mean, there is some cracking stuff on cable TV. There's some great stuff. But I was flipping through the other day, and on digital TV, you can see what other shows are on while you're watching something. I was flipping through, and there was one, and it was called... Now, when are you ever in the mood to watch a TV show called I Survived a 200-pound tumour?
When was that on?
Because...
No,
they're two people. They're two people. Conjoined twins. Yeah. Right, so these...
they just happen to have a similar taste in clothes. Okay.
Anyway, so they were doing alright, and it all went wrong when he crossed the road, got run over. The lad with two heads got run over. That's it.
What? How is that Cheeky Freak of the Week?
Just because he got my interest, and I kind of thought, why didn't he just look both ways?
I'm intrigued to know how
Why wasn't he looking both
ways.
I'm intrigued to know how you get run over. And what was it, 1629?
Yeah. Well, it's horses and that, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh.
If you could be tall or short, which would you rather be? You know, put yourself in my shoes, perhaps.
Fair. No,
I know. He's out now, isn't he? He's out.
Did he walk out?
I think so. I think that's it. From what I can.
No. I think next week they kick him out because I read something about they get rid of him next week because of his attitude. And first time I read it, I thought he'd actually ate someone's hat. But it was.
You lost me.
Got rid of him because of the attitude. Oh,
everything you think of now is puns. You can't get puns out of your head, can you?
Oh, Carl, you're great. Look at his little face.
He's so good. How long have you been working on that?
You've got to give him that. That was a real joke. Look at his face. He knew it was funny. It was meant to be funny. He said it to be funny, and it was. Well done. Well done.
I'm just interested. I just want to dissect it because it was brilliant, and I'm wondering how long have you been working on it?
About 2 weeks.
Yeah. Well, it's good stuff. It was worth the wait. This is more frothy. Liz Hurley lying low, apparently, at Elton John's house to try and avoid the press now that she's had a child.
That's a good place to go to avoid the press.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, Elton John's house.
Everyone seems to be friends with Elton John, don't they? Every celebrity's
When
friends
did he pop into Elton John's house? What is he running some sort
Well,
of...
it was like when Robbie Williams was a drunkard and a drug addict, he went to Elton John's.
Yeah, and there's the other fellow that went there as well, someone to, to recuperate and shoulder the crime. Is he giving out false passports?
But I don't know if people have seen his history. He's not the man of, I mean, I know he's cleaned himself up now, but, maybe that's it. Maybe he's got this kind of insight into how to deal with celebrity.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think it's just genuine mates with him. I think he's just like a friendly bloke.
I think she's been doing too much lying low in the first place. That's part of the problem, isn't it?
High five, Carl.
That was a genuine joke from Carl there. And he's so proud of himself. Look at his little face.
Too much lying low.
Oh.
You realise that wasn't Dixon's policy then.
Exactly.
They don't usually shout at you tosser as you leave the shop and walk down Camden High Street. They're not usually shouting at you tosser.
You should have took the offer of like the monthly payments they've got on at the moment.
So
and it was a dark time.
Well, it was for me because I work nights.
Yeah.
But you can just tweak it, like the fella who has done the pegs on the face, right?
Yeah.
His name's Gary Stretch Turner, right?
Right.
So you're sort of cheating already if he's got a stretchy head, right? but
you are right. You are one of the most stupid humans I've ever met.
Well, get me in the book.
Right, well, name some of the bands. Names of the bands.
Nile.
Go on. Right.
That's one of the bigger ones. What else is there? There's a woman who's had a breast in show for 150 grand.
Right.
Okay.
Okay,
More information there?
What? Third-party fire and theft?
Don't know, it had a picture of her with them, like, out. I just thought, yeah, he should get them covered.
He's done another real joke!
Brilliant, that's a proper joke.
He's done, look at his little face, he smiles.
I'd like to see you on one of the sort of TV panel games. If they could bring back sort of celebrity squares, I think it'd be amazing as the centre square.
Oh, that would be incredible.
Sorry, does Barbara want her face being there? No, I'm just saying if that's what she's into, then I don't mind just popping...
She's dead, yeah.
So, isn't she?
Isn't she?
I don't think she is.
Just be careful, because you can't libel the dead, so I want to make sure she's dead before we start saying horrendous things.
But I don't think she is dead. I'm almost certain she's not.
I don't think so.
No, she's not.
Phone, is Barbara Carlton dead? 08700 800 1234.
I'll have to get Chris in. So listen, right?
Yeah, and I reckon on the day before, I'd do a lot of things with my left arm. Give it like a big day out.
Juggle.
Get it to do lots of things. Yeah.
Do something.
I mean, if everyone followed this example in the world and put the left arm in the air permanently, we wouldn't really get very far, would we?
Oh, it'd be a nightmare for cab drivers. Flagging them down.
There's loads of questions coming for you, Karl. Karl Pilkington.
It was like, don't walk through a river that's full of snakes because...
Good advice.
They, if you've got a kid in the car or in the house, turn your radio down if you don't want them to hear stuff like this. But, yeah, they go for your tackle.
Why?
I don't know, they just do.
They think it's another little snake?
Maybe.
With swollen cheeks.
Earrings.
With earrings, yeah.
Or an anaconda in my case.
With one eye.
Put new grout in, they look as good as new.
Thanks,
Anyway, time for the news.
He knows the format of 5 Live. Thank you, Carl. Bye-bye. No, I think we came second. This really tarty girl who did Madonna like a virgin, and I thought, yeah, right. Like you are. She was a right ropey little woman. But
so great.
Guys, it is a pleasure to be seated here with Kings of Podcast.
That's not saying much, though, is it? Kings of Podcasts.
Yeah. It's not like the Kings of Leon.
No.
That would be cool.
Or the King of France.
Yeah, he's even better.
Oh, it'd be great, wouldn't it? The King of France.
Now, what's he like now? Is he still around?
I don't know.
Oh, they beheaded him, didn't they?
Really?
Yeah.
That wouldn't be good then. Kings of Podcasts is the best, isn't it?
audiobooks.
We prefer that time. Kings of Audiobooks.
Podcasts are free. We make nothing from podcasts. Let's get it right.
And you've just had your back bedroom carpeted, haven't you? That's not
well, I'm about to tomorrow.
He's rolling it now. He left his job, and we were doing free podcasts, and we had about, I don't know, 1 million downloads. And I think it was Steve that said, "Why don't we just charge £1, Rick?" And we did charge £1. Yeah.
Mm. And now, what listeners do we get?
We've had about 3 million sold, and about 160 million free downloads. So still, they want something for nothing. They still won't give us £1 for everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone loves a bit of freeness, though, don't they?
Yeah.
Well, the British do, which leads me nicely onto the guide to being English.
English, yeah, to celebrate St George's Day, 23rd of April. Yeah.
What do you think makes us English? What do you think defines us?
Being born in England.
Yeah.
That's the main one, isn't it?
Again, if you're the King of France, you'll have very little experience of being English.
Yeah. Being born in England pretty much sums up being English.
But this was very much something that we discuss on the audiobook, is what makes a person English, what defines your Englishness.
We go from the trivial and superficial of what an Englishman looks like. I thought he was like a little stocky fella with no neck and a head like that. Whereas about sort of bald
Can
round.
I go now? Because that's what I was here for, wasn't
Sort of like a real sort of, you know, little bulldog breed. Whereas Steve thinks of Hugh Grant.
Always. Or a sort of James Bond figure. Who's someone I very much model myself on. Yeah, that's how I pictured the Englishman.
Although I've never seen James Bond's glasses fall across the room when he was fighting with someone.
No.
It would all be over, wouldn't it? He'd go, "Miss Moneypenny, can we get Q, can we have some elasticated things on these?" That wouldn't happen.
No, it's true, but it's one of the reasons I rarely fight international spy rings. But, Carl, what was your take on the English?
In what way?
Anyway,
right.
Just answer any question.
I don't know what it means to be English anymore. I don't know if I feel English.
Look at the body language.
What do you feel?
Look at the body language.
I feel more Polish.
I don't know what that means.
Just because whenever I walk past sort of builders and that who are Polish, they'll always sort of give me the nod. The look that I've got, I think I look more Polish than English. I think. I'm just going off foreign builders and that. They always sort of give a nod.
Any Polish in you that you know?
What do you mean they give you the nod? You're walking past a group of builders, you don't know if they're Polish or not.
No, you can tell they're Polish.
How can you tell?
They're just the way they look. You can tell they're Polish. And the builders, there's the first sign.
Racist.
Right,
come on now.
Oh, chimpanzee that! Monkey news, earlier than usual.
I'll have to save this link now. Monkey news. We've done a lot of stuff, right, on monkeys, and most of it has been
bollocks.
No, has been like happy stories.
Oh, is this it's not? Is this going to be like our tune? Our monkey tune. Simon Bates, and welcome to our monkey tune.
No, but do you know what I mean? We've done stuff about a monkey that robbed a bank.
Yeah. Why is that happy?
He had a great life after that. Right.
What, in Marbella?
Yeah. Right, we did, the one who saved someone's handbag in a railway station.
We've had a lovely marriage, couple of marriages.
Couple of monkey marriages.
Yeah, yeah.
There was the one who got a job in a railway station.
Yeah, the hairdresser.
The one who set up a business in Spain.
I don't even remember that one. I'm willing to believe that happened. Go on then, Carl.
But anyway, yeah. So today's isn't that isn't that happy, really. It's about some monkey, I think it was a chimp.
Who's an ape? Go on.
He tried to... I mean, the story sets off at a sort of a weird thing.
Yeah.
It's something about he went to Russia to do some business.
What are you talking about, Carl?
It jumped past that bit, though. It didn't start there.
What?
Do you know what I mean? It didn't tell you what he was doing. It just said, there's this monkey, went to Russia.
To do some business.
Do some stuff.
I don't know.
Bit of monkey business. And, anyway, didn't work out.
So, they were furious. We wanted a surgeon, you send us a monkey.
Anyway, ended up being homeless.
Oh. No,
It's always taking a turn for the worst.
What, couldn't even get into like a tree hostel or anything like that?
That's the problem. And,
God.
ended up homeless. Got in with some tramps.
I don't know where to start.
Come on.
Yeah, so he's knocking about with some tramps and stuff. You know, sharing drink and what have you around a little fire. They broke into some home, not sort of squatted.
Right, so not homeless anymore.
Problem was, yeah, he had a roof over his little area he had.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh, this is good. This is, we're having a good time. This is sorting me out.
Yeah.
He had his
He
mate.
said that in Russian, though.
What was he eating?
I don't know. Don't know. It didn't say. But they're in this house.
Well, he could only be eating sort of like fruit, nuts, vegetables. I mean, they classically sort of don't eat pork pies and.
But they've got
drink
McDonald's
coffee.
in Moscow now, so
sure.
You probably chow down on that.
Yeah.
Anyway, there was a bust.
What?
There was a bust in the flat that they were squatting in. All the other tramps sort of knew what was going on, legged it, left little chimps out there, got arrested. And they thought it was a real fella at first. They were like, get him, he's obviously just a scruffy bloke who hasn't had a shave and stuff.
Yeah.
Hasn't shaved his back for a while.
Or his face.
Yeah.
His head.
Got him down the station. And the boss was like, what's going on here? We've got a monkey here. He was like, what? So you arrested the monkey.
Well, so the arresting officers hadn't noticed all the way to the station that he kept slipping out of the handcuffs and was going for the entire journey. They didn't notice till they got there. What, did they put a hood over his head maybe and just like,
I don't know. I'll give you the story if you want. There's the headline.
What is it? What's the headline, Steve? I don't want to see it, but...
The headline, this is once again from supposedly reputable news organisation Ananova, homeless monkey arrested in Russia.
Did you read on, or did you see the headline and make up that whole story?
It's most of it is there.
What isn't there? What bit isn't there then?
No, I think Steve can have a look over it, check it out and stuff.
Point out the embellishment for me, Steve, will you?
Well, what it doesn't say is, that the police didn't realise it was a monkey.
That's what I was guessing. Really? That they got it back and said, what are you doing? We've got a monkey here. And they go, yeah? Oh, God.
There's some more, monkey problems in the week. Have you seen the Alfords advert with monkeys in?
No.
There's a new advert out for Alfords, selling bikes and stuff.
Yeah.
Got some monkeys in it. It's caused an uproar.
Why?
People are saying it's, dressing them up in tracksuits and that is,
taking the mickey out of Manchester.
it's not nice for the animals and that. So there's been loads of complaints
about it. Do
about
they get a free bike or something, do they, I imagine?
I think they kept the tracksuits.
Yeah.
Shall I record
that's the
after
thing
this
now.
cheeky freak of the week?
No, I'm just saying we're not doing this to sort of, again, take the mickey out of the animals and stuff. These are true stories and that. But yeah, coming next, Freak of the Week. I was thinking the other day about, your body and everything, because it is amazing, isn't it? How it works.
Oh, yeah.
Does the brain control you, or are you controlling the brain? I don't know if I'm in charge of mine.
Nor do I,
There's
Carl.
a surprise.
Nor do I, Carl.
No, do you know what I mean, though, by that?
Does the brain control you, or do you control the brain?
Don't you ever sort of think sometimes, say if you're making...
But you are the brain.
No, but I was making a shopping list, right? Going, right, I need some rice, kidney beans, and I thought I had everything, and I sort of was rolling up the paper, and then something went, oh, an onion.
Your brain did something that. Went an onion. Was it Suzanne?
No, well, my brain sort of went, you forgot something.
Yeah?
I didn't think I'd forgot. I was
you are your brain.
No, but don't you understand? My brain was I was in control of my brain when I was writing down rice and kidney beans.
But you're not in charge of the onion. That's another part of the brain that's in charge of the onion.
The onion sector.
Yeah. No, but I'd put the paper away, putting my coat on, ready to go and get the rice.
Yes, but your onion lobe kicked in.
What? So you put the paper in your pocket, you got the coat on, then you just suddenly hear from nowhere.
It was just like onion. Yeah, I'm not even thinking about that shopping list. It's in my pocket. I'm thinking, do I need my gloves? It's cold out.
Yeah.
Suddenly, onion, and it was like, oh yeah, onion. Yeah, I had to get the paper out. So what I'm saying is, who's in charge?
The brain, the mind, the brain is the... What are you doing? Who's in charge?
That's just, you forgot the onion and then you remembered the onion. You must have forgotten things in the past.
No, but not like that. Not where... Like, it just made me think, that was weird. Who reminded me of that?
You did.
Yeah, but I'm not...
No, you are your brain. It's not like there's you, then there's a brain, then there's an extra one looking down at it. The meta brain, the thing above it.
No, but your brain... How does your brain work? You give it information, don't you?
Well, it takes...
Do you mean you give it information?
Well, if I sat in a room with nothing, not feeding it anything, it wouldn't know anything.
No, but there's this thing that there's two yous. It's this thing that there's
Carl and Carl's brain.
Yeah, there's not a duality in this. If you go, come on, now think. That's the brain saying that to itself. It's not. There's not two people in there having an argument. Come on, brain. And the brain's going, oh, don't you start, I was thinking then. And the other thing's going, brain, onion. And the brain goes, Carl, onion. You are your brain. If you are anything, you are your mind, your brain, your collection of memories, your personality. You're not what you look like. Does that answer your question, Carl? What did you think then? You were thinking of a tortoise on a skateboard then when I did that last sentence, weren't you? Okay, Carl. This is a logical conundrum. To a certain extent, there's a little bit of lateral thinking because, but there is only one right answer. Now, the pressure here isn't to get this right. The pressure is when I've told you the answer to then understand it. Because when I've explained this to people, I've laid out for them, they still can't quite get the concept. Okay, so there's two doors, Carl.
Yeah.
One leads to heaven. One leads to hell. Yeah. Okay, they're identical. You can't tell them apart. Okay, 50-50.
Right.
Obviously, you want to go to heaven, I assume. Right, there's two guards, identical guards, guarding each door. Okay?
Right.
The one guarding hell always tells a lie. The one guarding heaven always tells the truth. You have to ask one question to find out which is which, and then go through the door you want. What question do you ask?
I've only got one.
Yeah.
And what, one to both?
No, one to either of them. You don't know which one's which, though. So what question do you ask?
Why can't I ask, like, both of them one?
Because
Because the rules are you can only ask one. There aren't actually two doors labelled heaven and hell, Carl. This is a leap of imagination here.
And I've definitely got to answer. I've got to ask them a question. I can't just sort of have a feel of the door to see if there's any heat or anything.
They're identical. You stand a few yards away. You cannot tell from the outside of these doors which is which. What question do you ask?
I can't look through the keyhole or anything.
There's no keyhole.
Near them.
Um,
Let's imagine there's a small rope that prevents you from getting anywhere near, rather like outside a nightclub.
Yeah.
So they stood there.
Yeah.
They both look the same. They're both smiling.
Yeah.
But one of them's not really smiling, really. He's trying to make me make a mistake, isn't he?
Well, he's just going to lie when you ask him a question, if you ask him.
So what's the point in asking a question? Do I know one of them's going to lie?
Yeah.
But would they be neighbours like this? Would they be that close? Why?
I mean, we're not sure if these two guys get on.
Because it's a logical... Well, I'll tell you the answer.
No, I want to see if he can get it. He's almost there. No, he's not almost there. What am I thinking?
No, hang on. Right, so you go up and you go,
Right, hang on. Well, look, let's imagine that. Let's imagine Ricky and I are those two guys. Okay, right?
But we have to. Well, me and Steve will decide which doors we're guarding. Okay.
Right.
I'm.
Look away, Carl.
Okay.
Right.
Then.
So we've decided. Okay, one of us is guarding hell and one of us is guarding heaven. Which question you're going to ask and who you're going to ask it to?
Right. I'll just say to you, Steve. I'll go. Got some post for God here.
That's not a question. That's a statement.
Right, you've got some post for God here.
No, that's not a question.
Yeah, but maybe the question's coming. You got some post for God here, yeah.
And it needs to be signed.
It's not a question. Still not a question.
No, let him finish.
Is God in? Because I need him to sign to this post. Is he in?
Well, I can answer that as well if you want.
Go on.
He's in. He's behind my door. Do you want to answer it?
Well,
yes.
Do you want to get him? Just.
Well, no, you've only got one question.
So you're asking Steve, is God in? What's the answer?
Yes.
Ask me. Yes.
Look, lads, I'm just trying to do a job here. What am I going to do with this?
Well, give it to me and I'll give it to God because he's behind my door. Steve?
Yeah, give it to me and I'll take it into God because he's behind my door.
You're an idiot. Let me tell you the answer. I'm guarding hell, by the way. I'm the devil. Steve's God, okay? So you asked me what Steve would say if you asked him what door he was guarding, and I'm going to lie. I know he'd say heaven, because he'd tell the truth, but I'm lying, so he'd say hell. So the question is, if I was to ask the other one what door he was guarding, what would he say? And whatever the person answers is the door they're guarding.
Steve, what door are you looking after?
Well,
heaven.
Yeah.
Why should I believe you?
Because you don't know. No, that doesn't work. Because you asked me the same, and I'd say heaven as well.
Right, so who do I believe? This is where you use your gut feeling, though, isn't it? This is what life's...
Well, as opposed to the pure logic that Ricky's just used.
I just think, because there's a lot of questions in life where you don't know the answer, and you go, do you know what? I don't like the look of him. So...
They're identical.
Yeah, but they're still identical twins. You always get a little snidey one.
For centuries, life's big questions have challenged some of the world's greatest minds. The need for love, marriage, and lifelong commitment, the yearning to reproduce, and the survival of the human race, the search for a vocation, the desire to find happiness, and the inevitable death. But Karl Pilkington has not given a second thought to any of these issues.
This cat's cross-eyed. I've never seen that before.
Now he's turned 40, he thinks it's time he did. He's travelling around the world to see how other people deal with life's big questions.
We've had the Iron Age, the Stone Age. This is the about age.
Karl wants to know why people get married.
Just because two people love each other, they drag other people into it. Get on with it.
He wants to find out if you need to have children.
This is definitely confirmed that this is not for me, this, at all.
Do you need a vacation in life?
Tell you what, thirsty work, though.
What's the secret of happiness? And how do you deal with death? This is the moaning of life.
It's like, who's the mental one here? Is it me or everyone else?
See your head a little bit. We want to get the noise, the microphone there. Right, ready? Hold on.
Good. So you're just doing it?
Hold on. Now, it's in position. What have you... Oh. Ready?
Yep.
Oh, God. Oh, no!
Oh, it's like Jackass.
Did it hurt?
Did that hit me?
What do you mean, did it hit you?
I sort of just...
It went off course, did it? Just glanced, did it?
Right, Lindauer, you're going to send us 8 more bottles, please, because we're going to get this right.
Yeah, yeah. Oh.